Chapter 1901. So that's how it is. We can't continue investigating. Your safety is the most important thing. Now that I know the general situation, I know what to do, Night Sorrow said. My safety is the most important thing. Perhaps that's why I'm not worried about you. Dragon Language felt very secure looking at Night Sorrow. After Dragon Language left the Devil Blood realm, many things happened. She didn't know who to trust. She couldn't even trust her own people, but she trusted Night Sorrow. We're friends. Let's go. I'll send you to the Primal Chaos realm. Night Sorrow didn't want Dragon Language to stay in the Celestial realm because the Celestial realm wasn't safe. I heard that your god-slaying squad has been working hard to cultivate. I've seen their aura and spirit back then. I want to join, Dragon Language said. Alright. The current captain of the god-slaying squad is also a member of the dragons. I'll talk to him about this. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow felt that the god-slaying squad was safe enough. Even if the Primal Chaos realm was infiltrated, the god-slaying squad wouldn't be infiltrated. He had Night Moon Villas Ji Dao Go and call Long Jin and Tianyu over. Night Sorrow introduced Dragon Language to them. I'm Long Jin. Although I hate the black dragons, I respect my brother's friends. From today onwards, you're our brother and sister. We'll have fun together and kill enemies together. Night Sorrow extended his hand to Dragon Language. We'll kill enemies together and have fun together. I remember that you were very weak during the Realm War, Dragon Language said after a formal handshake. That was then and this is now. Captain, don't worry. With us brothers around, no one can touch Dragon Language. Long Jin coughed and said to Night Sorrow. Make sure to hide her identity. Let's go to the God-Slaying Squad's cultivation base together. Night Sorrow thought for a while and decided to visit his brothers and sisters in the God-Slaying Squad himself. Lin Piao appeared as well. The group arrived near the Eye of the Storm, where the God-Slaying team was stationed. The members of the God-Slaying Squad were all very happy to see Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was naturally the same. Zhan Tan, Mo Chen, and Guan Yu were his three senior brothers. Qin Zhen, Liang Yu, Yun Huang, and Qian Yu were all his brothers. Everyone is working hard, but remember, you have to know when to relax, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the group of people. Yes, there are some bottlenecks that can't be helped. Qin Zhen said. He was now at the Monarch realm, but he couldn't cultivate to the peak and enter the Heavenly Monarch realm. This situation was very common in the God-Slaying team. Liang Yu and Yun Huang were also stuck in the same situation, unable to take the step from the Monarch realm to the Heaven Monarch realm. Brothers, my aptitude is not bad, right? Becoming a Heavenly Monarch means that you have the potential to become one. However, I've been stuck at the bottleneck for millions of years. Do the math. I've been in jail for 5 million years, Zhan Tan said with a smile. Eldest senior brother, don't put us down like that. 5 million years. That's too scary. Mo Chen said. They all addressed Zhan Tan as eldest senior brother just like Night Sorrow. I'm not putting you down. I'm just giving you confidence, Zhan Tan said with a smile. Who are we? We are members of the God-Slaying team, the most outstanding group of cultivators in the world. There's nothing we can't do. However, we can't ask too much of ourselves. Look, how many emperors are there in the Ethereal Empire? They have been accumulating for countless years, or even epochs, Night Sorrow said. Everyone drank tea and chatted. They had been brothers for too long and had walked through life and death situations. They were friends who had gone through life and death situations. Night Sorrow and Long Jin also introduced the Dragon Language to everyone. They also mentioned some things to take note of. The Dragon Language couldn't be known to outsiders. After chatting with everyone for a while, Night Sorrow decided to leave. Long Jin and Tianyu decided to stay. They also needed to cultivate and settle down. Only Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao wanted to leave. Leader, thank you for the Saint Spirit Stones. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to keep up, Liang Yu said. You don't have enough Saint Spirit Stones. Yi Shang was stunned. Yeah. So many of our brothers leveled up because of King's level. Plus, we used up a lot of space treasures. However, the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones you asked Wu Feng Mansion Master to give us should be enough for us to use for a long time, Liang Yu said. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. I'm sorry, brothers. It was my negligence that we didn't have enough resources. I didn't know about the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones. I'll take note of the resources in the future. Leader, you didn't know about the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones. Then it's not appropriate for us to use their resources. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. There's nothing inappropriate about it. I was the one who gave it to Wu Feng. What's mine is Night Sorrow's. When Night Sorrow isn't around, you can tell me anything, Lin Piaomiao said. Thank you, 13th Aunt. Qin Zhen and the rest shouted. Qin Zhen used to be a man of few words. However, it was different now. He was happy to be with his brothers. Night Sorrow left. When he got on the teleportation array, he didn't turn around. He just waved his arm. I can't see the leader's cultivation. The gap is getting bigger. I wonder when we can fight together again, Ho Jian said with some emotion. Don't give yourself pressure. The leader wants us to live well. If we feel pressured because of this, the leader won't feel comfortable, Lei Bao said. You're smart for once. Liang Yu patted Lei Bao's shoulder. Long Jin, tell us. How did you go on a killing spree with the leader this time? Qian Yu asked Long Jin. Qian Yu and Long Jin came from the 9 Firmament World Group, so they were more familiar with each other. It went very smoothly this time. However, it should be the most embarrassing time since I met the leader. We were chased for a year. Tianyu and I took turns to run. For more than a year, we were flying most of the time. Long Jin laughed loudly. What's the situation? You were chased for a year. Everyone's interest was piqued when they heard Long Jin's words. In their minds, it was always Night Sorrow who chased after others. That's an old woman. Her cultivation is an emperor. Do you know what an emperor is? Can we kill her? If we can outrun her, it's actually a win, Tianyu said. When Tianyu said that, everyone was stunned. What kind of concept was an emperor? Everyone was clear. That's not an ordinary emperor. The leader can kill an ordinary emperor. That emperor is one of the 3 great heavens of the Demon Wing clan, Mo Tianji. She's a soul recultivator and her combat power is super strong, Tianyu explained again. He felt that this matter wasn't embarrassing at all. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to Tianhuang City because there were still many things to do. Night Sorrow had just entered the mansion when he saw the Grand Elder and King Yawu. After greeting them, Night Sorrow told them about the operation and the current state of his main body. Epiphany. This is very rare. Tell Uncle the approximate area. When Uncle went over, the Demon Wing clan didn't enter the reincarnation battlefield. Uncle didn't fight, King Yawu said. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Chapter 1902. Night Sorrow took out the map written by Lingling. He marked out the approximate area he was in and handed it to King Yawu. Alright, don't worry and cultivate. Uncle's clone is on the Demon Mountain. He'll be there later, King Yawu said. I'm sorry for the delay because of my own cultivation. Night Sorrow bowed to King Yawu and the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder reached out and helped Night Sorrow up. It's a good thing to have an epiphany. This time, your uncle will guard you. I'll do it next time. Thank you, Grand Elder. Thank you, Uncle. There's no problem with the item. It's always been with me, Knight Sorrow said. From your point of view, it's not necessarily the safest choice for the clone of the human sovereign skeleton to hold on to. You're right, King Yawu said. Knight Sorrow brewed a pot of tea and then told King Yawu and the Grand Elder about the journey to the reincarnation battlefield. This time, not only did you get the human sovereign skeleton, but you also got the infinite desolation halberd. For the fate of the infinite desolation and the celestial realm, our advantage will become more obvious as time passes, the Grand Elder said. But the demon ancestor's soul fragment is still there. It's a big hidden danger, Knight Sorrow expressed his concern. You don't have to worry about that. The demon ancestor was defeated by the human sovereign when he was at his peak. Now, he's just a remnant soul. If he dares to come out and cause trouble, the remnant soul will be destroyed, King Yawu said with confidence. Okay, then I'm relieved. Knight Sorrow nodded. Don't worry and cultivate. Uncle saw your real body, but this void purple light snake is really difficult to deal with. After King Yawu finished speaking, he left Knight Sorrow's residence with the Grand Elder. Uncle is here. You're absolutely safe, Lin Piaomio said with a smile. She felt a lot more at ease. Pu Luo and Fan Tian returned. Pu Luo cleaned up the traces of the dragon language, while Fan Tian patrolled the area of influence of the Humanitarian League. While they were drinking tea and chatting, people came back one after another. First, it was Yuzhu and Ruisi. Then, it was the Great Demon King in a black robe. I've been busy for 2 years, and you all ran away. Knight Sorrow stood up and poured tea for them. Why don't you run for another 2 years? By the time you come back, I'll already be an Imperial Tribulation cultivator. The Great Demon King said after finishing the tea in one gulp. Have you passed the 8 tribulations of the heavenly law? Pu Luo asked the Great Demon King. Yes, after passing the 7 and 8 tribulations of the heavenly Tao, there's quite a lot of room for improvement. That's why I didn't attempt the 9 tribulations of the heavenly Tao. I should complete it in the next few years. The Great Demon King nodded. Recently, he had been frantically increasing his strength. Then, Yuzhu said that she had good news to tell everyone. After extorting a bag of tea from Knight Sorrow and a jar of wine from the Great Demon King, she told everyone that her subordinates had seen the Sky Limit Saint Emperor in Bai Chuyuan's White Emperor City. Hearing this, the Great Demon King stood up immediately. Old bastard, you're finally not hiding anymore. Alright, let's go kill him. Knight Sorrow didn't want anyone from the Sky Limit sect to escape the net. That would be a threat to the Ethereal Empire and Star Moon Lake. The Great Demon King waved his hand and didn't let Knight Sorrow follow him. He set off with Ruisi. The Great Demon King will settle it. You have a lot of things to do, so stay calm for a while. When you're in a state of enlightenment, your doppelgangers will fight fiercely. It's easy for your main body to wake up prematurely. Then, it won't be worth it. Lin Piaomio said. Yuzhu smiled. You have to know that the Great Demon King has already passed the 8 tribulations of the heavenly law. Back then, before he passed the tribulation, he already killed that guy. Now that he's gone, he'll directly solve the problem. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow nodded. He wasn't worried that the Great Demon King wouldn't be able to deal with Ling Tianji. He just wanted to kill him once. After chatting with Pu Luo and Ruisi for a while, Knight Sorrow left the mansion. After thinking for a while, he went to the high tower where the Grand Elder was. At this moment, in the small space world inside the high tower, King Yawu and the Grand Elder were talking about the Demon Mountain situation, as well as the results of searching the memories of the dragon-headed man and snake-headed man after capturing them. That means that the Black Dragon's betrayal has something to do with their bloodline. Is this a deep collusion? The Grand Elder frowned. If bloodline was involved, then the problem was serious. Noticing Night Sorrow's arrival, the Grand Elder opened the door to the small space world and let Night Sorrow in. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at King Yawu and the Grand Elder. I have something to say. At the same time, I hope that Martial Uncle and Grand Elder won't make things difficult for an innocent person. Say it. If you think it's innocent, we will naturally consider it. King Yawu nodded. Night Sorrow told them about the appearance of the dragon language, as well as the results of the investigation of the dragon language. The outstanding Black Dragon King from the previous reincarnation was Ao Yang. Ao Yang's son was lost. Is the current dragon-headed man related to Ao Yang's bloodline? King Yawu's face was full of shock. 2 black dragon eggs, one is lost. What about the other one? Which of the black dragons did the other one belong to? The Grand Elder also had questions. Night Sorrow doesn't know about this. I only know that the current Black Dragon King Longzhe is definitely on the side of the Demon Wing clan. I don't want to say the specific dragon language, and I don't want to force my friend to say anything, Night Sorrow said. The dragon language. She didn't mix with the black dragons. That's for sure. Now let's see how to deal with this matter, King Yawu said. Talk to the city lord and see if it's necessary to attack the black dragons and release the imprisoned black dragons. If it's possible, then the truth will be revealed to the world, the Grand Elder said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow didn't say anything else. He just told them what he knew. He didn't care about the next plans and arrangements. It wasn't something he could control. Seeing King Yawu and the Grand Elder pondering, Night Sorrow left the small space world. Night Sorrow felt a little uneasy, but he didn't know the reason. There was originally some danger in his original body's epiphany, but with King Yawu's arrival, it was absolutely safe. Mo Tianji smoothly arrived in the celestial realm. This allowed her to let out a sigh of relief. She had a chance of accomplishing some of the following things. Mo Tianji was a smart person. In the desolate heaven domain, she was a wise person. After arriving in the celestial realm, she was very cautious and knew that there were some places she couldn't go. The desolate heaven domain and the divine capital were places she couldn't go. Her aura could easily be discovered by the giants of the 100 Race Alliance. She was only a middle-class emperor and couldn't fight against some experts. Once she was exposed, some plans couldn't be carried out in secret. Mo Tianji's main target was Night Sorrow. The desolate heaven domain halberd and her original body were both in Night Sorrow's hands. If she took back her body, she could return to her peak state. If she also took back the desolate heaven domain halberd, she wouldn't be afraid of anyone. Chapter 1903. Mo Tianji knew a little about Night Sorrow. Back then, Mo Tiantu's group of monarchs had dug up some information about Night Sorrow. Mo Tianji realized that her attire was very eye-catching. Her white hair was 30,000 feet long. Who would look like her? After thinking for a while, Mo Tianji exhaled and changed her body's energy. Her white hair hid in her body and then she activated her energy. Black hair that reached her waist appeared. The black hair covered her white hair. She took off her black cloak and changed into a loose white robe. It was her casual attire when she was resting. After entering a city and buying a map of the celestial realm, Mo Tianji teleported to the ethereal dynasty. She planned to enter Night Sorrow's 9 Zones world first. As long as she entered the 9 Zones world and destroyed the teleportation formation, the 9 Zones world would be her territory. In the 9 Zones world, Night Sorrow had many weaknesses. As long as she took down his family and friends, Night Sorrow would be obedient. Night Sorrow stayed in the desolate city every day to practice the intense spear art. He was creating the ultimate art for the desolate war halberd. It was a good thing for Night Sorrow that the main body's epiphany didn't end. On Night Sorrow's day, the great demon king Enrich returned after he finished practicing the spear art. How was it? Night Sorrow asked. It went well. Ling Tianji's main body and doppelganger were all killed. Bai Qiuyuan's main body was also killed. However, the great demon king was too inhumane. When Bai Qiuyuan was about to die, he forced me to hit him with a brick. I have to apologize to the Grand Elder later. Ruixi looked at the great demon king with resentment. We are all brothers in the Humanitarian League. We have to go through thick and thin together. Do you think you can just watch me kill someone? Then when I come back and the Grand Elder scolds me, you will be fine. You are overthinking. The great demon king acted as if he didn't see Ruixi's gaze. After drinking a pot of tea, the demon king and Ruixi went to report to the Grand Elder. They had to inform the Grand Elder about killing Bai Zongyuan. Pu Luo, how's my Aunt Fei's coronation? Night Sorrow asked. It's very lively. All the 100 races have sent representatives. Other than you, the leader of the Humanitarian League, the other 6 elders have all arrived. In addition to your gift, our Humanitarian League has also prepared other gifts, so it won't be a problem. Pulo told Night Sorrow about the situation at that time. J Most Q New Chapter 50, Q above, asterisk, thank you. This is the first time I've broken my promise to someone. It's the first time I've failed to keep my promise to someone. Night Sorrow felt a little regretful in his heart because he really didn't want to disappoint Wu Lingfei. The Ice Phoenix matriarch can understand. After hearing about what happened to you, she was very worried, Pu Luo said. Night Sorrow nodded. Now that things had come to this, he could only wait for his main body to come out of seclusion and find time to go again. After a while, the Demon King and Ruixi returned. The two of them didn't have any shame on their faces after being reprimanded. Instead, they were full of anger. What happened? Pu Luo asked. We met that old bastard Yukuan. He said all sorts of unpleasant things, saying that the two of us are the black sheep of the herd, Ruixi said angrily. Then the two of you aren't going to do anything to him. Fen Tian returned from outside and just happened to hear Ruixi's words. Do we directly attack him in front of the Grand Elder? If it's not in front of the Grand Elder, we'll do it directly, Ruixi said. Pu Luo laughed, this isn't a big deal. Looks like this Yukuan needs to be dealt with. He can't always be by the Grand Elder's side, right? This idiot always wants to slap our Humanitarian League's face. Then there's no need for us to be polite. Revenge doesn't wait overnight. Keep an eye on him and deal with him tonight, Night Sorrow said. League Master, this joke won't work. If we touch him, we'll inevitably be scolded by the Council of Elders. It's not worth it. The Demon King looked at Night Sorrow with surprise in his eyes. This wasn't something that Night Sorrow would say. The Humanitarian League was built by us. We have a clear conscience. The Humanitarian League is also our face. If we hit anyone who wants to hit us, how can we still survive? We'll deal with him tonight. I hate him from the bottom of my heart. He's not a good person. I'll bear all the consequences. Night Sorrow's thoughts were very firm. Since League Master said so, then let's deal with him. He almost killed us last time, and now he's still so arrogant. He really thinks he's a dish. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, the Demon King's blood rushed to his head. Pu Luo, if it's inconvenient for you, then don't go. We'll deal with him without a problem. Lin Piaomiao looked at Pu Luo. After all, Yukuan and Pu Luo were both law enforcement elders of the Council of Elders. She was worried that there were some things that Pu Luo couldn't face. What do you mean it's inconvenient for me? If he wants to go against the Humanitarian League, then it's convenient for me at any time. Pu Luo said with a smile. At this time, the Grand Elder came to Lu Qi's residence. He waved his hand and asked Lu Qi, who was about to make tea, to sit down. Grand Elder, what's the matter? Lu Qi took the empty teapot and sat down. The Grand Elder told Lu Qi about Yukuan's suppression of the Demon King and Ruisi. Grand Elder, I don't quite understand. The Humanitarian League's reputation is at its peak. Although it's a little flamboyant, it's in line with the heavens and humanity. Yukuan shouldn't be doing this at this time. Lu Qi said with some confusion. Some things don't have evidence, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. I'm too lazy to investigate the details. Let the Humanitarian League deal with it, and the matter will be over. I came to you because I think the Humanitarian League will make a move soon. You have to watch the situation and don't let it escalate. The Grand Elder said. Okay, Lu Qi understands. Lu Qi nodded. After the Grand Elder left, Lu Qi sighed. There were some things that he knew and had been through his hands. One of them was investigating Yukuan. Back then, Lin Piaomiao and the Demon King led people to fight against the demon-winged clan in Mount Tianhuang. Under Yukuan's strong command, the entire army was almost wiped out. It was Pu Luo who led people and pulled them back from the brink of death. After the investigation, the mobilization of people at that time couldn't be justified. It didn't conform to common sense, and it shouldn't have been because of Yukuan. There were also a few incidents that shouldn't have happened. Without exception, they all happened to Yukuan. The Demon King was the one who arranged to keep an eye on Yukuan. He had 3 groups of people in Mount Tianhuang. There was no problem in keeping an eye on Yukuan. After the moon rose, Night Sorrow led people out of the mansion. Yukuan was still in Mount Tianhuang. He was looking at a compass in a daze. He was holding the yin-yang compass. The yin-yang compass was yin and yang. As long as one moved, the other would move too. After arriving near Yukuan's mansion, Pu Luo first entered Yukuan's mansion. Pu Luo, are you here on behalf of the Humanitarian League? Yukuan asked. That's right. Let me ask you. Do you have to stick your nose in our Humanitarian League's business? Pu Luo's face, which was originally full of smiles, was now very serious. I'm the law enforcement elder of the 100 Races Alliance's Council of Elders. It's normal for me to meddle in anything, right? Yukuan asked back. Chapter 1904. Zhang Ziwen unsealed Pu Luo was here to kill. If Yukuan had a better attitude, Pu Luo would have hesitated. But Yukuan was stubborn. Pu Luo had no reason to be polite. Pu Luo, are you crazy? Yukuan retreated, his eyes full of shock. He didn't expect Pu Luo to attack. In the past, Pu Luo was famous for his good temper. He was sunny, kind, and easy to get along with. But now, they were 2 completely different things. Pu Luo attacked violently. I'm crazy. You're the crazy one. Is your brain full of shit? You want to slap the Humanitarian League's face. Pu Luo kept attacking with his fists. Pu Luo's fists weren't divine weapons, but they were stronger than divine weapons. His fists were extremely fierce. His fists shattered Yukuan's mansion. At this time, the housekeeper of Yukuan's mansion attacked Pu Luo. I'll stop him. Go find someone to stop him. A random subordinate is an Emperor Tribulation cultivator. Yukuan, you've hidden yourself well. Pu Luo was surprised. He punched the housekeeper with his left hand. At the same time, he sent a message to Night Sorrow and the others. He wanted to capture this housekeeper alive. They were likely to investigate Yukuan's background. Pu Luo continued to attack Yukuin. Go inform the Grand Elder. Yukuin shouted at the housekeeper. He wanted to find the Grand Elder, but Pu Luo didn't let him. The housekeeper couldn't restrain Pu Luo. As soon as the housekeeper left the mansion, a spatial crack appeared in front of him. Then, several figures appeared. Domain suppression and absolute art control. Following which, 5 shining golden bricks of human Tao appeared. Following which, this housekeeper's head, chin, back of his head, chest, and back were struck. His body went soft as he fell to the ground and fainted. 5 people hit the bricks. Night Sorrow didn't do anything because 5 people were enough. Humanitarian League, you won with more people. Aren't you afraid of losing face? Yukuin's face changed. He knew that today was his doom. The Humanitarian League really wanted to mess with him. Losing face. I don't think so. As long as you're not stupid, you know that it doesn't matter how many people you hit. You, Yukuin, are no different from a mad dog when you open your mouth and bite people. Rui Si threw out a harsh sentence, making Yukuin's face turn red. Lu Qi, who was watching from afar, shook his head. He didn't expect Ruisi, who usually didn't speak much, to say such words. Pu Luo, I won't give you a chance to practice alone and prove yourself. Take him down and end this quickly, the great demon king shouted at Pu Luo. What do I have to prove? That I'm stronger than him. Everyone in the Council of Elders knows this. Why do we need any proof? Everyone, get to work. Pu Luo replied to the great demon king. He realized that many people had appeared around him, so he had to end the battle quickly. The commotion caused by the battle was huge. The elders of the Council of Elders, as well as some law enforcers and deacons, all discovered it. However, they were stopped outside by a law enforcer team led by Lu Qi. Yukuin used a clone, but it wasn't enough. He was an Emperor Tribulation level cultivator. In terms of strength, he wasn't as strong as Pu Luo. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomia were both close to the Emperor Tribulation level and had the strength to fight above their level. He couldn't stop them. The battle was very fierce. The area was destroyed, and Yukuin was heavily injured. His clone was killed, and his head was split in half by the Great Demon King. Stop immediately. The Grand Elder won't allow you to mess around. This is a lose-lose situation, Yukuin shouted. He would be a fool if he still couldn't see the situation. The onlookers also knew that Night Sorrow and the others weren't here to educate Yukuin. They were here to kill him. 7th Elder, why didn't you stop them? Yukuin shouted at Lu Qi when he noticed him. Lu Qi was a discipline elder. If he stopped them, Night Sorrow and the others would give him face. Why should I stop them? If you have a conflict, then solve it. We'll talk about it after that. If there's a conflict within the 100 Races Alliance, it's better to solve it first. Lu Qi didn't care. He was here to carry out the Grand Elder's arrangement and not let the situation escalate. Lu Qi, you despicable person. You're a discipline elder. How can you be bribed? Yukuin was furious. He knew that Lu Qi didn't want to care about him. Hurry up. Yu Zhu shouted. Then, her sword changed. She used her ultimate move. She was worried that a long delay would lead to trouble. As Yu Zhu used her ultimate move, the people from the Humanitarian League also used their ultimate moves. Night Sorrow used the Soul Destruction Crescent Moon Blade and slashed at Yukuin. As Night Sorrow and the others used their ultimate moves, Yukuin naturally couldn't take it. Pu Luo's fist shattered his spiritual sea. The Great Demon King's weapon also pierced his dantian. Pu Luo quickly collected the spoils of war. Storage rings, weapons, and Dharma treasures. These were all spoils of war. This is the result of going against the Humanitarian League. If you don't like it, then try it, Ruisi shouted at the crowd. Slap. Puluo slapped the back of Ruisi's head. Are you stupid? Do you think that the disturbance is small and that you want to make some enemies for the Humanitarian League? Looking at the other people staring at him, Reese knew that his attempt to establish his authority had failed miserably. It was completely untimely. Retreat! Night Sorrow shouted. The few of them left Yukuin's mansion. Of course, it wasn't a mansion anymore. It was a ruin. When they passed by Lu Qi, Night Sorrow threw a jar of wine to him. Then, they quickly left the area. Ruisi's shouting was stopped by Pu Luo. However, everyone watching the battle knew that they couldn't provoke the Humanitarian League. The Humanitarian League really didn't give them any face. They were ruthless and underhanded. No matter who it was, they were serious. In terms of status and identity, Yukuin was already very high. In the Elders Association, other than the Grand Elder and the 7 Elders, the Elder of Law Enforcement had the highest status. But so what? He was directly killed. Lu Qi sighed as he held the jar of wine in his hand. He knew that if he didn't handle it well, his reputation would be ruined tonight. It would be ruined by this jar of wine. The onlookers didn't know that it was the Grand Elder's order. They all thought that he had been roped in by the Humanitarian League. Evidence. This jar of wine was the evidence. After leaving the area of Yukuin's mansion, Night Sorrow didn't return to his mansion directly. Instead, he brought Pu Luo, the Great Demon King, and the others to the First Army's encampment. When they arrived at the encampment, Night Sorrow called White Meng Meng and Bai Lingling to the commander's office. Then, he threw out the unconscious Yukuin's butler. Meng Meng, Lingling, do me a favor. Check his soul memory. If there's anything that's not beneficial to the 100 Races Alliance or something that can't be exposed, record it down, Night Sorrow said to White Meng Meng and Bai Lingling. At this time, Tianyu and Long Jin also arrived in the tent. Before Night Sorrow could say anything, they each pressed on one of the butler's shoulders. The Great Demon King held the human Dao gold brick, squatted in front of the butler's head, and waved his hand again. Don't worry. Carry out the investigation. He definitely won't wake up. Could he wake up? As soon as there were signs of him waking up, the gold brick would go straight to his head. Search Cool Craftsman on WeChat, follow the name of the new work, and read the full text. Say. Chapter 1905. Zhang Ziwen unsealed. White Meng Meng made a move. She used the Nine-Tailed Fox clan's soul illusion technique to attack Yukuin's Spirit Sea. Would an Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator be someone's butler? It didn't make sense, so Night Sorrow asked White Meng Meng and the others to check their memories. Seeing White Meng Meng begin to check, Night Sorrow went to the side to study the things left behind by Yukuin. Yukuin was dead, so his storage ring was naturally ownerless. Night Sorrow took the things outside one by one. Yin-Yang Compass. There's something wrong with this thing. Pu Luo picked up the yin-yang compass that Night Sorrow put aside and said. What's this? Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and asked. It's a messenger. No matter how far it is, when the yin compass and the yang compass move, the other one will move as well, Pu Luo said. This only shows that it's possible. It's mainly because of that guy's memories. Night Sorrow was stunned when he said this. At this moment, White Meng Meng had already used her illusion technique. She grabbed Yukuin's head with her left hand and dragged a memory crystal ball with her right hand. The crystal ball contained the butler's memories. The city in the image was different from what Night Sorrow knew. This wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that the people in the image all had a single horn and 2 wings. They were from the Demon Wing clan. What did this mean? It meant that this butler wasn't from the celestial realm, but from the Demon Wing clan. The great Demon King moved his left hand and an energy shattered Yukuin's hairpin. Then, he pulled it. Night Sorrow and the others saw that there was no hair in the center of Yukuin's hairpin. There was a scar. It's the same as the Demon Wing clan's Imperial Emperor team. He's from the Demon Wing clan after the broken horn and wings. I just don't know when this guy sneaked in, Night Sorrow said. This evidence is enough. With the Demon Wing clan's Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator as his trusted aide, how could Yukuin be a good person? Ha! Pu Luo said with a laugh. Keep your voice down and see if you can dig out more. Yu Zhu glared at Pu Luo. Yu Zhu, you're so mean. When I was a law enforcer, you and Reese lived a good life. I did all the work myself. Now you're glaring at me. That's too sad. Pu Luo sighed. Hey! Don't be sad. Once we're done with this guy, I'll treat you to tea at the Twilight Tea House. Let's go to the best restaurant, Yu Zhu said. Our cool craftsman. Net, original first, looking at Yu Zhu, Pu Luo smiled. They had known each other for a long time, so even if it was a joke, Yu Zhu would not let him down. Everyone knows what this thing is. Glazed steel is a forging material that can only be produced on planet Tianhuang. Did he collude with the Demon Wing clan? The Great Demon King asked as he took out a shining forging material from Night Sorrow's pile. Now that Yukuin's matter had been resolved, Lu Qi dismissed everyone. He sighed and carried the wine to the Grand Elder's pocket dimension. What's wrong? Do you think everyone will look at you differently? Do you think you're in cahoots with the Humanitarian League? The Grand Elder asked. I've treasured my entire life. Now, it's been ruined by a few bastards. Lu Qi opened the wine jar. Lu Qi, you too. Fine. I'll drink this wine. The Grand Elder shook his head. This jar of wine is hard to swallow, so Lu Qi won't drink it himself, Lu Qi said. You're overthinking. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao have long been suspicious of Yukuin. How can they not investigate after killing him? Judging from the way those guys do things, not to mention that Yukuin himself is not clean, even if he was clean, he would still be covered in shit. The Great Elder said with a smile. That means the Council of Elders will make an announcement about Yukuin's case tomorrow. The Humanitarian League's actions are just this time, and the law enforcers are just enforcing the law. Lu Qi asked in surprise. That's right. There is indeed a problem with Yukuin. There are some things that don't stick to trifles. The Grand Elder looked at Lu Qi and shook his head. He knew that Lu Qi was very principled. Of course, this was also one of the main reasons why he became a discipline elder. Night Sorrow had investigated clearly. The expert of the Demon Wing clan around Yukuin was called Darkfeather. He was sent to the Celestial Realm by the Demon Wing clan. Some information was passed to Yukuin by him, and some things he did not know were orders given to Yukuin by the higher-ups of the Demon Wing clan through the Yin and Yang compass. After investigating clearly, Night Sorrow, Pu Luo and the Great Demon King carried the unconscious Darkfeather to the Grand Elder's small space world. Grand Elder, Seventh Elder is in a good mood. Looking at the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder drinking, Night Sorrow was taken aback for a moment. Have you arranged the aftermath? Be realistic, the Grand Elder said. This evidence is real, not fabricated. Night Sorrow activated the crystal ball that White Meng Meng used to explore Darkfeather's memory. After looking at it for a while, the Grand Elder sighed, and Lu Qi's face was also full of anger. This person is the housekeeper of Yukuin. His cultivation base is at the level of the fifth tribulation of the heavenly Tao. Look at the root of his bun, there are scars of broken horns, and traces of broken wings on his back, the Great Demon King said. This yin and yang compass should be a tool for the Demon Wing clan to contact Yukuin. This glass steel may be the reward for the Demon Wing clan to ask Yukuin to do something. Knight Sorrow put away the glass steel and did not give it to the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder. Knight Sorrow, you are now the captain of the First Army. Not only do you have your own domain, but you are also the leader of the Humanitarian League. Is there a need to be so stingy over a piece of material? Lu Qi said somewhat speechlessly. This is not my own. It is the spoils of war of our Humanitarian League. When we go back, we will divide it, Knight Sorrow said. You have done a good job. This matter will be left to the Council of Elders. The Grand Elder was still a little uncomfortable. After all, Yukuin had been in the Council of Elders for a long time. Now that he was proven to be a spy, he was still a little disappointed. Knight Sorrow, Pu Luo, and the Great Demon King left, leaving the captive Dark Feather to the Grand Elder. Lu Qi got up and placed a seal on Dark Feather's Dantian and Spirit Sea. In order to unravel the foundation of Yukuin, it was better for Dark Feather to be alive. The Merit Emperor, the Human Emperor's seal, and the Human Emperor's ceremony, he actually represents the human Tao. There must be a reason for him to not see eye to eye with someone. Even if he doesn't see eye to eye with him, he must not be a good person. The Grand Elder said. Lu Qi did not speak. He already knew that Knight Sorrow had the Human Emperor's seal and the Human Emperor's ceremony's sacred text of Taoism. Look at the path he has taken, it is a legend. Even the previous Human Emperor was not so amazing. It took him tens of thousands of years to become an emperor. But look at him. He is now a 6 stars emperor and is still in the process of enlightenment. Just thinking about it is scary. The Grand Elder said with some emotion. Grand Elder, the existence of Knight Sorrow is not a secret in Tianhuang. If the other party continues to send people to kill him at all costs, it will be troublesome. We have to pay attention to his safety and help cover up his weakness. Lu Qi said. Yes, it is also easy for the Black Dragons to deal with him. So, you take 2 elders to the ethereal Imperial City area and watch over his area of influence. His weakness is that he values friendship. The Grand Elder thought for a moment and made arrangements. Search for Cool Craftsman Net on WeChat, follow the name of the new work, and read the full text. Said, the second update has arrived. I wish all my brothers and sisters a happy Qixi. Chapter 1906. We still have to do the hard work. I'll go talk to King Yawu. Let someone else take care of the divine capital first. Lu Qi said. All right. You make the arrangements. The human race is going to prosper. The 100 races are going to rise. The Grand Elder was very happy. When Knight Sorrow, the Great Demon King, and Pu Luo returned to the mansion, Lin Piaomiao and Yu Zhu had already prepared the banquet. After dealing with Yukuin, everyone had vented their anger. Naturally, they had to celebrate. Tomorrow, after Yukuin's matter is announced, our Humanitarian League's reputation will go up another level. Who dares to mess with us? Rui Si was also very excited. Next time, don't you think before you speak. The Humanitarian League's mission is to punish evil and promote good. You're making it sound like we're from the underworld. Pu Luo glared at Rui Si. If he doesn't listen, we'll have a meeting to vote to expel him from the Humanitarian League. The Humanitarian League doesn't accept scum. Yu Zhu took a sip of wine and said. Rui Si looked at the group dumbfounded. Isn't this too serious? I just said one wrong thing. Plus, I'm one of the founding members of the Humanitarian League. How can you expel me just because you want to? Do you have any morals? We don't care about the morals of the underworld. We deal with all of them ruthlessly. Lin Piaomiao smiled. Sect Elder Lin, you weren't like this in the past. You've gone astray. Rue Si shook his head helplessly. He obviously knew they were joking. Night Sorrow and the others were drinking wine to celebrate. Tianhuang City wasn't quiet. The elders and enforcers were all discussing what had just happened. The main thing was that the matter was too serious. Yu Kuan was the enforcer of the 100 Races Sect Elder Association and an Imperial Tribulation cultivator. A cultivator with such a high status and cultivation was killed by the Humanitarian League in an instant. Emperor Tang, Qin Qinjie, Elder Ling Shu, and Gu Qi were all sitting together. What do you think, Elder Qin? Emperor Tang asked. After pondering for a moment, Qin Qinjie said, I keep feeling that something is amiss. If the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders wanted to stop it, Yu Kuan would not have been killed. Since they did not stop it, it means that the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders have tacitly approved of it. These guys are too good at causing trouble. Bai Chuyuan was killed, Ling Tianji was killed, and now Yu Kuan is the same. If this continues, everyone will be killed by them, Gu Qi said. You can't say it like that. I like that brat. He's imposing and has principles. Every time he sees us, he's very courteous, right? There was a reason why he killed Yu Kuan. Just like what Elder Qin said, if it was unreasonable, would the Grand Elder not stop him? How can the 7th Patriarch not capture him? Elder Ling Shu said. Let's see tomorrow. Tomorrow, the Grand Elder and the 7 Patriarchs will explain this matter. The Humanitarian League will also need to provide an explanation, Emperor Tang said. Strange, logically speaking, after such a big thing has happened, the elders should immediately convene a meeting, right? But there is no response. Gu Qi was still a little puzzled. They had gathered together to wait for the meeting of the elders to be held. The night passed, but there was no sign of activity. After dawn, a person was tied up in front of the stone tablet on the side of the square in front of the Heaven Wasteland Tower. There was also a large notice pasted on it. There was also a law enforcer holding a tray and a memory crystal bowl. The notice announced Yu Kuan's misdeeds, as well as the fact that Yu Kuan colluded with the Demon Wing clan. The Humanitarian League, for the sake of the stability of the 100 Races Alliance, had captured the spy for the Council of Elders. Qin Qinjie, Emperor Tang, and the others received a message from their subordinates and came to the martial arts arena together. After reading the notice, Qin Qinjie activated the memory crystal ball, and then the matter of Dark Feather was displayed in front of the crowd. Emperor Tang also fiddled with Dark Feather's hair bun that did not resist. Yu Kuan should be killed. The yin-yang compass and glass steel are on him, plus the steward of the Demon Wing clan. This is irrefutable evidence. Qin Qinjie's face was very ugly. Yu Kuan, who was also a law enforcer, was a traitor, which made her lose face. Last time when our people were fighting in the Heaven Wasteland Mountain, Elder Lin and the Great Demon King were forcibly commanded by him and were almost completely wiped out. The other 2 guards of the space passageway were killed. I suspected him, but there was no evidence. Now the evidence has finally appeared. Emperor Tang said. The appearance of the notice calmed the matter down, and there were people constantly coming to visit Night Sorrow's residence. It was very satisfying to solve the matter of the spy. After sending away the people, Yu Zhu brewed a pot of tea. Comfortable, after occupying the moral high ground, everything is justified. It's not occupying, we punish evil and promote good. We have always stood at the moral high ground. Whoever can't get along with us, we will kill them all, the Great Demon King said. Okay. You win, do we want the area of White Emperor City? Night Sorrow got down to business. Of course, why not? Our forces are strong and powerful. How can we develop without a territory? Without resources, how can we nurture future forces? The Great Demon King said. Then we will have to tell Xuanji, Knight Sorrow nodded. Ah. By the time Alliance Lord thought of this, the territory would have been snatched away. When the Great Demon King and I returned, we told Chief Steward June about it. Our forces had already set out to occupy it. Ruesi glanced at Knight Sorrow with disdain. Our humanitarian league punishes evil and promotes good, not bandits, Knight Sorrow said helplessly, shaking his head. Translator, Timothy_editor, Globeglotter, punishing evil and promoting good. But punishing evil and promoting good also requires food and cultivation resources. We have discussed this matter before. You just need to wait for the resources. Pu Luo glanced at Knight Sorrow. At this time, Knight Sorrow agreed with Ruesi's words. They had all learned bad things. Pu Luo used to be such a sunny and gentlemanly person, but now he was leaning back in his reclining chair and drinking tea. He was completely like a skinned landlord. The Humanitarian League expanded very quickly. The main reason was that no one dared to stop the Humanitarian League's development. No one dared to snatch the Humanitarian League's territory. First of all, the Humanitarian League was doing things righteously. Even if it was snatching territory, it had a good reason. Whoever snatched the Humanitarian League's territory would be in big trouble. In addition, in terms of strength, the Humanitarian League was also very strong. On the 100 Races Alliance's side, other than a limited number of giants, no other force or cultivator could suppress the Humanitarian League. Lu Qi found King Yawu and told him about the Grand Elder's arrangements. I also had the same idea. I originally planned to let Shi Yan go. But as you know, Shi Yan's fighting strength is not a problem, but his Jianghu experience is a little lacking. When you go, bring Shi Yan's clone, King Yawu said to Lu Qi. Lu Qi understands. Knight Sorrow is the key to the development of our human race. Lu Qi will protect Star Moon City, Lu Qi nodded. Chapter 1907. With King Yawu's message crystal, Lu Qi went to find Shiring. From King Yawu's arrangement, Lu Qi knew how important Knight Sorrow was to King Yawu. King Yawu's words revealed that anyone who provoked Star Moon City would die. Even the 100 Races Alliance was no exception. With Shi Ying's clone and 2 elders from the Council of Elders, Lu Qi set off. Knight Sorrow didn't know about this. He went to see Jun Xuanji and chatted with him. Jun Xuanji was very cheerful and in a good state. Don't worry, I'm here. Uncle Shiring often rests in our Humanitarian League and even guides my cultivation. Jun Xuanji pointed at Shiring, who was fishing in the artificial lotus pond at the Humanitarian League headquarters. Knight Sorrow nodded with a smile. He knew about Shiring, an Emperor Tribulation expert, the true powerhouse of the divine capital. You're still laughing. I go buy fish every few days. Uncle Shiring definitely won't let go of the fish he catches. He'll eat it in all sorts of ways. If he can't catch any fish, he'll ignore me. Jun Xuanji said with a smile. Knight Sorrow went to Shiring and bowed. Knight Sorrow thanks Great Protector Shiring for taking care of the Humanitarian League. Young City Lord is too polite. The Humanitarian League is the most righteous force in the divine capital. I naturally have to take care of it. I mainly like this place, there are many fish here. Shiring pointed at the lotus pond. Protector Shi Yan, don't call me that. Yishang can't afford it. Just call me Yishang. Hearing Shi Yan's way of addressing him, Yishang quickly refused. At the same time, he was speechless. Many fish in the lotus pond. That's what he put there. The city lord has no descendants in his life. He only accepted Fan Tian as his disciple and Yu as his martial nephew. Before the 100 Races Alliance's Pioneer Assembly, the city lord had clearly stated that young city lord Fan Tian and young city lord Knight are the successors of the city lord of the divine capital. Shiring said. I've troubled Uncle Master with my matters. I can only work hard to cultivate and share Uncle Master's burdens." Knight Sorrow sighed. Back then, the god's capital had two city lords, Lord King Wu and Lord Yan Wushuang, so you are indeed the young city lord. Shikuan told Knight Sorrow something he didn't know. On T7, after chatting with Shikuan for a while, Knight Sorrow left. He didn't have to worry about the Humanitarian League. Even if the demon-winged clan wanted to do anything to Jun Xuanji, it would be impossible. Ordinary opponents could be dealt with by Shikuan. If a giant-level character really came, King Wu would feel that no one would have a good ending. Knight Sorrow returned to the heavenly desolate city and practiced his spear arts in his mansion. Practice makes perfect, and Knight Sorrow's spear arts were cultivated through familiarity. Knight Sorrow's basic spear arts, the primeval origin spear art that the Grand Elder had taught him, was displayed. The compressed domain on the spear was constantly vibrating and fluctuating. The vibrations and fluctuations were extremely powerful. Mo Tianji went to the ethereal royal dynasty's territory, but she didn't act rashly. She knew how important Knight Sorrow was to the human race and the 100 Races Alliance, so she had to be careful. She also knew that there weren't many opportunities. Once she acted, the human race would have defenses. Mo Tianji concealed her aura and went to the ethereal royal city first. She wanted to take a look around the Night Moon Villa. If Knight Sorrow's parents, wife, and children were there, and there was a chance, she would act. Mo Tianji didn't use the teleportation array. Instead, she crossed the city wall and entered the ethereal royal city. Then, she went to the Night Moon Villa to monitor it. Mo Tianji's soul power was very strong. She was very far away from the Night Moon Villa, and she could discover everything in the Night Moon Villa. Noticing the ice dragon skeleton in the Night Moon Villa, Mo Tianji frowned. She could see that it was the core of a terrifying array. She calmed her mind and examined it. Then Mo Tianji shook her head. She had analyzed that once the array was activated, she wouldn't be able to break it with her 8-star Emperor cultivation. In fact, she wouldn't be able to break it in a short period of time. During this time, other experts would be able to come and help. If she couldn't break the defensive array, then she would just have to wait. Mo Tianji planned to wait for Knight Sorrow's family to come out. It would be easier to capture them outside. However, reality disappointed Mo Tianji. There was almost no one going in or out of the Night Moon Villa, let alone those related to Knight Sorrow. Mo Tianji came to the conclusion that the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal royal city couldn't be moved. If it didn't work, she would change her strategy. Mo Tianji left the Night Moon Villa and headed towards the Star Moon Lake. The existence of the Star Moon Lake was no longer a secret. Many people knew that it was the gateway to the 9 regions world. When Mo Tianji arrived at the Star Moon Lake, she used her energy to protect her body and entered the lake water. She approached the Star Moon City in the water. She didn't want to alert the enemy. She wanted to find an opportunity to strike. The people in charge of the Star Moon Lake were the Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. They welcomed guests, Lu Qi and Shiring. Knight Sorrow's 9 regions world clone sent a message to the Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. The Qing Emperor came to the ethereal royal city to pick them up. Why didn't Mo Tianji see Knight Sorrow's family in the ethereal royal city? It was because Knight Sorrow's 9 regions world clone told her that his family members couldn't leave the 9 regions world, let alone the primal chaos realm. The Qing Emperor prepared a banquet to receive Lu Qi, Shiring, and the 2 elders from the Council of Elders. After the banquet, Shiring brought an elder from the Council of Elders to the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal royal city. Lu Qi and the other human elder stayed in the Star Moon City. When he noticed the Golden Body Holy Spirit, Lu Qi was shocked. The Golden Body Holy Spirit's merit aura wasn't as strong as Knight Sorrow's, but it was still very rich. Its cultivation wasn't low either. Currently, it had the highest cultivation in the Star Moon Lake besides Night Sorrow. It was a 3-star emperor. At this moment, the Golden Body Holy Spirit was sitting on the peak of the mountain behind the city lord's residence and cultivating. It was wearing a red cloak, which was Yi Qingyan's masterpiece. The energy of heaven and earth was gathering towards its body like a funnel. Its cultivation caused a huge commotion. What's going on? Lu Qi pointed at the Golden Body Holy Spirit and asked. The Qing Emperor explained the Golden Body Holy Spirit situation and its origin. This guy is very powerful. According to the time, his cultivation speed is terrifying, Lu Qi said. Yes, and he's very intelligent. He can communicate with everyone. We all call him Little Bone. The Qing Emperor nodded. At this moment, Mo Tianji was approaching the Star Moon City under the cover of the Star Moon Lake's water. Her soul power was very strong, so she naturally detected Lu Qi and the other human elder. Damn it! Damn it! After detecting Lu Qi, Mo Tianji cursed. She knew Lu Qi. He was a top expert of the human race. She was currently an 8-star emperor and didn't have the confidence to defeat Lu Qi. Mo Tianji wouldn't do something she wasn't confident in. Night Sorrow's 2 nests weren't convenient for her to attack, which gave her a headache. Wait for an opportunity and seize it. This was Mo Tianji's decision. Time passed in this tense atmosphere. Night Sorrow's original body was in a state of enlightenment. Because it took a long time, King Yowu went to the outer region of the void purple light snakes to wait. The pressure of fighting the void purple light snakes was too great. Chapter 1908. King Yowu was looking forward to Night Sorrow's future achievements. He knew that in terms of aptitude, Fen Tian and Night Sorrow weren't on the same level. There was a huge difference. Fen Tian's current achievements were the result of time and hard work. King Yowu estimated that after Night Sorrow's epiphany, even if he couldn't enter the Emperor realm, his destruction and void attributes would be greatly improved. It wasn't that King Yowu had high expectations. It was just that epiphany was too rare. One epiphany was equivalent to thousands or even tens of thousands of years of cultivation. During normal cultivation, the Heaven Dao's influence was mixed together. It was extremely difficult to analyze, deduce, and comprehend. It was like extracting silk from a cocoon. However, the epiphany was different. During the epiphany, one's mind would be the clearest. The heaven and earth's influence would be displayed clearly. It was the process of absorbing and strengthening oneself. Night Sorrow didn't know the situation of the main body. He was looking forward to it too. He didn't know what realm he would reach after the epiphany. However, the longer it lasted, the better. The longer it lasted, the more he would comprehend the heaven and earth's influence. Mo Tianji placed the spatial artifact at the bottom of Star Moon Lake. Every day, she would check on the situation in Star Moon City. Originally, she hoped that Lu Qi was here to do something and would leave after a few days. However, the truth disappointed her. Lu Qi had taken root in Star Moon Lake. Every day, he would guide the cultivation of the Heaven Monarch stationed in Star Moon Lake. Sometimes, he would bring a pot of wine to the mountain peak behind the city lord residence to chat with Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu couldn't speak, but his soul spirit fluctuation was no different from an ordinary person. He had his own consciousness and thoughts. Little guy, your current body isn't very beautiful. However, there is a chance for you to become an ordinary person. There are a few heaven and earth treasures that can help you grow muscles. Later on, Night Sorrow and I will help you look for them. I think that even if we have to pay a huge price, Night Sorrow will be willing. Lu Qi smiled and said. He understood Night Sorrow and knew that Night Sorrow would give up everything for the people around him. The golden body Saint Spirit let out a joyful expression. It interacted with the people in Starmoon City every day and hoped that it could become an ordinary person. Mo Tianji was annoyed. She decided to wait. She didn't believe that Lu Qi wouldn't care about what was going on in Heaven Desolate City and God's capital. If something happened there, Lu Qi had to go back. Night Sorrow cultivated steadily every day. His state of mind was good, so he was able to stabilize himself. His cultivation of the spear art was also getting better and better. He was able to combine the concept of the primeval spear art, the aura of the Ling Tian spear art, and the vibrations and waves of the spear art. The new spear art was not an absolute art, but it was very powerful. When the spear art was displayed, his body was surrounded by terrifying tremors and fluctuations. Lin Piaomiao had even thrown her weapon into Night Sorrow's domain. Even King's weapon would be shattered. This kind of power was very frightening. Almost no one's body could reach this level of strength. It was all protective energy, but to withstand this kind of continuous attack, the energy consumption was astonishing. Night Sorrow, what weapon will you use after your original body returns? The reincarnation spear or the Heaven Desolate halberd? Lin Piaomiao asked. I've been thinking about this problem. If it doesn't work, I'll take the path of fusion. This is also a choice. I have no other choice. Whether it's the characteristics of the Heaven Desolate halberd or the advantages of the reincarnation spear, I don't want to give them up, Night Sorrow said. It's all so difficult for you. The Blood Kirin evil-slaying spear also has an advantage that can't be replaced. You can only think of a solution between the reincarnation spear and the Heaven Desolate halberd, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. The Grand Elder came to see Night Sorrow and asked about his situation. He found out that Night Sorrow had an epiphany under 30 times time acceleration. Then, he counted with his fingers, looked at Night Sorrow, and left. Because 3 months had passed since the reincarnation battlefield, Night Sorrow had been in an epiphany under 30 times time acceleration. He had been in an epiphany for more than 7 years. It was rare to have an epiphany for 7 years. Besides, before the reincarnation battlefield closed, Night Sorrow's epiphany had already begun. Night Sorrow, can your energy cultivation keep up? If your energy can't keep up and causes the epiphany to end, you'll be at a disadvantage, Lin Piaomiao asked. Yes. This is the tyranny of the heavenly artifact. Little Kong has been providing me with pure energy. My energy cultivation won't fall behind by much, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'm looking forward to seeing your situation after the epiphany. I hope you can become an emperor straight away, Lin Piaomiao said. It'll be difficult. When I was in seclusion, my understanding of the void and destruction attributes was only around 50%. It won't be easy to cross 20% in one go, Night Sorrow said with a smile. According to your epiphany in the reincarnation world, it has been 5 months in the real world. With 30 times time acceleration, 5 months of epiphany. How many years is that in reality? As long as you don't wake up, your harvest this time is unknown, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. I'm also looking forward to it. If I reach the Emperor realm, my strength will increase by a lot. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He was also looking forward to the results after the epiphany. He was bullied by Mo Tianji for a year. He still had a lot of pent-up anger in his heart. After the Desolate City Lord returned from the reincarnation battlefield, he discussed with King Yewu and the Grand Elder how to deal with the Black Dragons. King Yewu wanted to inform the Golden Dragon King about the situation and the investigation of the dragon language. He wanted to give the Golden Dragon King some time and let the Golden Dragon King make a decision. On this night Sorrow was cultivating, the Grand Elder and Lu Qi came. They wanted the first leader to recruit more members. However, Night Sorrow rejected them. Night Sorrow felt that the first leader was doing well. If they recruited more people, they would have to train again. Grand Elder, it hasn't been long since the first leader finished recruiting new members. Lin Piaomiao said. It's because the first leader's training was very effective. The clan elders of the other clans want their juniors to be stronger, so they want to send their juniors in. The Grand Elder shook his head and said. It's mainly because Night Sorrow, you brought people in this time and completed the mission without any losses. They all trust you, Lu Qi said with a smile. Grand Elder, is it difficult for you because I rejected them? Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder and asked. It's fine. I can handle this pressure, the Grand Elder nodded. He liked Night Sorrow's perspective on the big picture. Then recruit some people and train them on the second line. Also, I have a suggestion. The members of the first leader can choose to stay or leave after they reach the Emperor realm. If they are forced to leave, it will lead to a constant flow of people, which will make the first leader unstable. If people come and go, the Brotherhood won't be stable enough. It won't be good for development. If I stay in this state for a long time, what if I reach the Emperor realm? Will I have to leave? With the arrival of a new leader, the team will have to be reorganized, Night Sorrow said. Then I'll talk to the clan elders of the other clans about this. If they don't agree, you won't recruit anyone, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Then, the Grand Elder told Night Sorrow that the soldiers of the first leader had to leave after reaching the Emperor realm. This was the reason for the rule. The reason was that the clan elders of the 100 clans wanted to give others and the descendants of the 100 clans more opportunities. If the Emperor realm's soldiers were still in the first leader, the others wouldn't have the chance to stand out. Chapter 1909. I can understand you. It wasn't appropriate to suggest changing the rules in the past because you had to consider convincing the masses. It wasn't enough to convince the masses in the First Army. You had to gain the approval of all the sect elders. You are the Merit Emperor and have made outstanding contributions in 2 battles. They shouldn't have any reason to object, said the Grand Elder. After chatting for a while, the Grand Elder left. He had to make arrangements for this matter as soon as possible. Bringing it up now was different from bringing it up when Night Sorrow reached the Emperor realm. There wouldn't be any gossip if he brought it up now. If he brought it up when Night Sorrow reached the Emperor realm, the other sect elders would think that the Grand Elder was fighting for the benefits of the human race. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were drinking tea as they talked about what happened just now. Night Sorrow, some things are a responsibility. Why don't you just let it go, said Lin Piaomiao. She felt sorry for Night Sorrow. He was responsible for so many things and so much pressure. Sister Xian, you're right. However, the soldiers in the First Army are worthy of respect. It's my honor to lead them to conquer the world, said Night Sorrow. It's the same. They will feel fortunate to have you as their leader, said Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. Although it was easier to let go, there were some things that he couldn't let go of. Night Sorrow didn't have to worry about the Humanitarian League. The God-slaying team had Sandalwood leading them. Longjin and Tianyu were also there. He didn't have to worry too much. As for Xingyue City, Night Sorrow didn't have to worry about it because Lu Qi was there. Yishang stayed in his mansion in the heavenly desolate city and cultivated. Every day, he cultivated his lost skills and improved his battle strength. Night Sorrow cultivated for another half a month before the Grand Elder came. Night Sorrow put away his spear and invited the Grand Elder to sit down. Your mixed essence spear technique has changed. You absorbed the essence of King Yewu's Ling Tian spear technique and added in your own comprehension. It is much more profound than my mixed essence spear technique. The Grand Elder said to Night Sorrow. He felt that Night Sorrow was a genius when it came to cultivating spear arts. His decision to teach the primeval spear art to Night Sorrow was not wrong. The Grand Elder can also try to change it, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'm different from you. I was the one who created the origin spear art. I'm not good at using my soul to control the spear like King Yawu. However, the fusion of spear arts, vibration, and wave techniques is worth a try. I'm going to take advantage of you, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Grand Elder, you're exaggerating. Night Sorrow still hasn't thanked Grand Elder for teaching me, Night Sorrow said as he poured a glass of water for the Grand Elder. You're an outstanding junior of the human race. If I don't teach you some things, who else can I teach? I'm here today to tell you a piece of good news. It's up to the Emperor Realm cultivators to decide whether to become a captain or not. This has already been implemented in the Heaven Wasteland Army. If you enter the Emperor Realm, you can also stay in the First Army, the Grand Elder said. Thank you, Grand Elder, Night Sorrow said. It's a good thing. It's also a pressure and responsibility. I told Night Sorrow to let go, but he doesn't want anything bad to happen to his brothers in the First Army. Lin Piaomiao sat beside Night Sorrow. The Grand Elder nodded. He knew how Night Sorrow felt. How could he not want to let go and do his own things? He had been sitting in the Grand Elder's position because of his responsibility. About the Demon Mountain, did the City Lord and my martial uncle find out anything? Night Sorrow thought of another question. After they went there, the Demon Mountain was already empty. All traces had been erased. They saw ordinary dragon-headed people and snake-headed people elsewhere. They confirmed that it was the Demon-Winged Clan and the Black Dragons. The Demon-Winged Clan and the Flying Serpent Clan were mixed bloodlines. In the future, you have to be careful when you meet the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan. Things are complicated because of their bloodline. If you confirm something, our 100 Races Alliance will declare war on the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan, the Grand Elder said. Then the Grand Elder and Night Sorrow explained why they didn't really kill the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan in the past years. It was because everyone lived in the Celestial Realm and wanted to leave a way out for them. But once it was confirmed, the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan had no possibility of turning back. They could only kill them. M/K, Grand Elder, what's Long Zay's cultivation level? Night Sorrow asked. He should be at the level of the tribulation of the 4 emperors. Why do you ask? His problem will be solved by others, the Grand Elder said. Last time, he brought 2 dragons to the Blood Kirin Mountain to cause trouble. Although it was the Blood Kirin race's matter, they injured my wife. I won't let this matter rest, Night Sorrow said. He was not afraid because of Long Zay's high cultivation level. Instead, he was full of motivation. Take it slow. I'll give you time. You can do it. These experts are accumulated over time, the Grand Elder said. After chatting for a while, the Grand Elder left. He came to inform Night Sorrow about the change in the rules of the Heaven Wasteland Army. In addition, there were more than 30 members of other races of the 100 Races Alliance who wanted to join the First Army. Of course, they were all Imperial Emperors. The First Army would not accept anyone who was not an Imperial Emperor. Only Night Sorrow had 3 special quotas. However, Night Sorrow had not used these 3 special quotas. Mo Tianji had never scolded anyone before. She had always believed that fists could solve any problem. If she could use her hands, she would not speak. But recently, she had been scolding people every day. Who was she scolding? Naturally, she was scolding Lu Qi. Lu Qi stayed in Star Moon City and delayed her a lot. If Lu Qi was not here, Mo Tianji could easily take over Star Moon City. Once she took over the teleportation formation, she could enter the 9 Domains world. Then, she would be able to make a comeback. But because Lu Qi did not leave, Mo Tianji's plan was disrupted. Lu Qi's stay in Celestial Moon City was too stable. After all, it was just a clone. He had come to Celestial Moon City to relax. Qing Lin and Qing Wan would often ask him questions about cultivation. Of course, good wine and good tea were the prerequisites. His days here were very comfortable, and the thought of leaving never crossed his mind. Mo Tianji felt that this was not good. She had to solve this dilemma. After thinking for a while, Mo Tianji decided to control the spatial treasure to get closer. As long as she reached the teleportation formation before Lu Qi, it would be enough. She avoided Lu Qi's interception and teleported to the Nine Domains world. Lu Qi could not go to the Nine Domains world even if he wanted to. After making up her mind, Mo Tianji controlled the shrunken spatial treasure to leave Star Moon Lake. After reaching the shore, she moved slowly toward the teleportation formation. Mo Tianji was very cautious. She only used the wind to move slowly and controlled the energy fluctuations to the minimum. Lu Qi did not notice Mo Tianji's movements. First, he felt that it was very safe and there was nothing abnormal. Therefore, he did not investigate in detail. Chapter 1910. The closer they got to the teleportation formation, the more nervous Mo Tianji became. Even though she had lived for countless years and her state of mind was extremely strong, she still couldn't suppress this feeling. Mo Tianji was not sure that she could survive the next emperor's tribulation without the body of her original body. However, with the body of her original body, she was confident that she could survive the next emperor's tribulation. She was suppressed by Yan Wushuang's soul because Mo Tianji had just gone through the tribulation of the 7 emperors and was in a weak state. Yan Wushuang's soul power had been controlling the human emperor's seal to prevent her from recovering and giving her time to cultivate. After a long time, Mo Tianji had recovered a little. She thought she could defeat Yan Wushuang and see hope. However, night sorrow had appeared and caused her soul to leave her body. Therefore, she had fallen into this situation. Time slipped away. Mo Tianji looked at the teleportation formation again, but she was more cautious. She didn't even move for a few days. Only when she thought it was absolutely safe would she move with the wind and energy fluctuations. Heavenly Wasteland City. Night sorrow cultivated for a while before Zhuodong called him to the encampment of the First Army. Emperor Tang and Elder Spiritual Tree had brought 30 emperors to the encampment of the First Army. Night sorrow needed to receive them. At this time, all the teams had gathered. The 10 squad leaders stood in front of each team, while the 30 newcomers were in a separate team. Seeing Night sorrow, the 10 squads knocked on their breastplates to show their respect. I'm here to tell you a piece of good news. First of all, the Council of Elders has agreed to change the rules. In the future, when you lead the First Army and cultivate to the Emperor realm, you won't be forced to leave. It's up to you whether you want to stay or leave. Night sorrow glanced at the 30 newcomers. It could be said that the 30 newcomers had exchanged for the change of the rules. That's great. Even if Captain enters the Emperor realm, he's still our captain. Zhuodong and the others were very happy. I didn't come to the First Army just to go through the motions. We're also not casual brothers. I can't promise that I'll stay in the First Army forever, but I'll at least wait until there's a suitable leader who can take care of you. Only then will I leave, said Night Sorrow. Zhuodong's eyes were full of joy. They knew that as long as Night Sorrow was in the First Army, the First Army would be glorious. Following that, Night Sorrow walked in front of the 30 rookies. I won't hide it from you. Actually, I wasn't willing to accept you because you were a burden. You might have been a burden to my 300 brothers. However, for some reason, I made some compromises for my 300 brothers. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the 30 newcomers showed dissatisfaction on their faces. Which of them were not proud and arrogant after cultivating to Sovereign Emperor? They were highly valued by their respective tribes, but Night Sorrow's words were not polite at all. I can understand that all of you are very dissatisfied with my words. You are sovereign emperors, and so am I. I will accept your challenge at any time. If you can win, then I will take back what I just said. If you can't, then obediently lie down. Night Sorrow sized up the 30 people again. I challenge you. Me too. Hearing Yi Shang's words, someone immediately shouted, and there were a lot of people shouting. They were all sovereign emperors. After being defeated by Night Sorrow, they naturally refused to accept the challenge. Idiots. Flower Without Words muttered. Idiots. Bai Lingling also threw out 2 words. Tiger Cold, White Meng Meng, and the others also shook their heads. Perhaps some people did not know Night Sorrow's strength, but they had seen it with their own eyes. Night Sorrow had defeated the second army alone and taken back the encampment, which was a display of his strength. In the reincarnation battlefield, he had easily killed the sovereign emperor with dragon heads, which was also a display of his strength. How could an ordinary sovereign emperor do that? Night Sorrow was an overlord among the sovereign emperors. You want to challenge me now? That's fine. You don't have to come one by one. All of you can come together. I want to see the strength of the 30 of you. Night Sorrow raised his arm and pulled out the blood-chill and evil-slaying spear from his back. For our dignity, even if we offend you today, we have to fight for our dignity. Attack! A red-haired man roared and then slashed at Night Sorrow with his battle blade. Night Sorrow's blood-chill and evil-slaying spear shook and executed a new spear art. He did not release his domain, but when the blood-chill and evil-slaying spear was brandished, a domain was naturally formed. The compressed domain trembled, fluctuated, and extended in all directions. This trembling and fluctuation was deep. Other people's domain defense was ineffective. Under the impact of the domain trembling and fluctuation brought by Night Sorrow's spear art, it would be destroyed in an instant. If their defense was ineffective, they could only take a beating. It was also useless to resist. If they tried to block, they would be directly blasted away. Then, they would be whipped by Night Sorrow's blood-chill and evil-slaying spear. As for attacking, Night Sorrow had the space-time realm to protect his body. It could even be said that Night Sorrow was not willing to use the space-time realm. When the Sky Emperor Nirvana palm in his left hand was used, it could affect a large area. Then, the new members in this area would be attacked. In just a moment, the 30 new members were beaten into a sorry state. They could not even stand steadily. Chapter Moose Section O above, stand up straight, don't lie down. Failure is not scary. The key is not to fall, or if you fall, you can't get up. Now, stand firm. Night Sorrow's right hand shook, and the blood-chill and evil-slaying spear fell into the spear pouch on his back. Feel wronged? If it was me, I would feel wronged too. However, there are rules everywhere. Do not accept weaklings. That is the rule of the first territory. Weaklings do not only refer to the strength of one's strength, but also the strength of all aspects. If you can't take this little blow, then go back. Tiger Cold, Bai Lingling, I'll leave the training of these 30 new members to the 2 of you. Flower Without Words, you go too. You also need to strengthen the formation. Night Sorrow instructed Tiger Cold, Bai Lingling, and Flower Without Words. Tiger Cold, Bai Lingling, and Flower Without Words stood up and tapped their chests with their left hands. After giving the instructions, Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Emperor Tang and Elder Spirit Tree. Sorry for the delay. Go to the commander's office. Night Sorrow will make tea and entertain you. Ha! Well done. These little guys are used to being arrogant in their respective tribes. We need to teach them a lesson. Elder Spirit Tree laughed. Not bad. The soldiers of the first territory are in good spirits. Tang Zong also nodded with a smile. Both he and Elder Spirit Tree were smiling, but they were extremely shocked. This was because Night Sorrow's strength was not comparable to an Empyrean emperor's. Just now, all 30 rookies had been beaten. Without exception, they were all beaten in the same place, their right legs. In a group battle, it was very difficult to attack the opponent's spot and cause all of them to be hit. After Night Sorrow left, the 30 new members sat on the ground and rubbed their right leg. Sister Lingling, Captain was too ruthless. Our legs were almost broken. A white-clothed youth spoke. He was Bai Xiaoyu from the nine-tailed fox race. You deserve it. What did I tell you? You listened to everything he said. Weren't you yelling happily just now? How dare you challenge someone like you? Bai Lingling went forward and gave the white-clothed youth a kick. Humph. You're asking for it. This time, I only hit your right leg. If you don't know what's good for you next time, Captain will break both your legs. Tiger Cold snorted. Chapter 1911. In a group battle of the same cultivation level, it was already difficult to win without any losses, not to mention attacking only one spot. In the battle just now, Night Sorrow attacked casually, but all he hit were their right legs. Think about it carefully. If it's easy to be the leader of the First Army, then we don't need the First Vanguard of the 100 Races Alliance to be the leader. From today onwards, you're not allowed to leave the First Army. We'll lift the ban when the three of us are satisfied, Tiger Cold said. Isn't that too cruel? A woman looked at Tiger Cold and said. Cruel? If you think it's cruel, then leave. Didn't you realize that the First Army doesn't want you? Tiger Cold glared at the woman. The newcomers didn't say anything because the First Army, from Night Sorrow to the ordinary soldiers, didn't look them in the eye. They really didn't want them. I don't want to teach a bunch of useless people when the leader asks. I'll give you 2 hours to heal your injuries. After 2 hours, the training will begin. Hu Han left after giving his instructions. He was still practicing the joint attack formation with the brothers of his own team to strengthen his own abilities. After Yi Shang sent off Tang Zong and Elder Ling Shu, he took a look around the First Army and then went to the small martial arts practice field to practice his spear arts. He had to make arrangements for today's matter. He didn't have time to do it personally. The newcomers also started training. They had no reason to be lazy. Not to mention that they were newcomers, the original 10 teams of the First Army were all training. In the evening, Night Sorrow stopped cultivating and went to the original 10 teams to look at them. He pointed out some shortcomings and personally demonstrated them. Then, he left the First Army. Sister Lingling, the leader didn't look us in the eye. He completely ignored us. Isn't the difference in treatment a little too serious? Bai Xiaoyu muttered. He was Bai Lingling's cousin. How should I put it? You guys haven't reached the level where you need the leader's guidance. You guys can't do anything. His guidance from the beginning to the end. I can only say that I'm sorry, but the leader doesn't have time, Bai Lingling said. Night Sorrow returned to his residence and had dinner with Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow was quite satisfied with his current lifestyle. Within the 9-domain world, he had his 9-domain doppelgangers accompanying his parents, wife, and children. This doppelganger dealt with matters outside while his main body cultivated. Mo Tianji was still moving towards the teleportation array of Star Moon City. As she moved closer, she felt that her chances were increasing. On this day, he noticed Lu Qi flying towards the mountain peak behind the City Lord Mansion. Mo Tianji took a deep breath. She flashed out of the spatial treasure and rushed towards the teleportation array. She had calculated everything. Once she reached the teleportation array and placed the Saint Spirit stones to activate it, she would have enough time. Lu Qi would not be able to stop her in time. The moment Mo Tianji appeared, Lu Qi knew who she was. His expression changed drastically as he rushed towards her. Mo Tianji's white hair fluttered as she sent the guards flying. Even Shi Lai, who had arrived just in time, was sent flying. Mo Tianji then threw a Saint Spirit Stone into the Saint Spirit Stone slot of the teleportation formation. The teleportation array glowed and activated. At that moment, Mo Tianji landed on the teleportation array while Lu Qi was still flying. Mo Tianji stood on the teleportation array with a smile on her face. Lu Qi had arrived late. But at that moment, the light on the teleportation array dissipated. The teleportation energy stopped and everything quieted down. The teleportation failed. Mo Tianji did not understand. The teleportation array had already been activated. How could it fail? The teleportation crystal was lit up. The teleportation array was fine. Mo Tianji, how dare you? Lu Qi was furious. He swung his sword at Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji did not know why the teleportation array failed, but it was too late for a second teleportation. In order to prevent Lu Qi from sending other experts to kill her, Mo Tianji left the teleportation array. When Mo Tianji flew out of the teleportation array, her feet shook and the teleportation array shattered. Then, a battle broke out in the sky above Star Moon City. Qing Emperor collected the teleportation crystals that fell from the teleportation array and watched the battle. Knight Sorrow, who was cultivating his spear arts, was shocked. He looked at Lin Piaomiao and said, "Sister Xian, Star Moon City is under attack. The teleportation array has been destroyed. The aura belongs to Mo Tianji. Let's go back and help," Lin Piaomiao said. Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao did not have time to inform anyone. They took the teleportation array back to Ethereal Imperial City. Then, they teleported to Greenwater City, which was the closest city to Star Moon City. Then, they flew back to Star Moon City. "Sister Xian, don't worry. Mo Tianji was teleporting to 9 Domain World. I sensed it. I controlled the teleportation crystal's power of law and stopped the teleportation," Knight Sorrow said. She must have used some method to hide from Seventh Elder and entered the teleportation array. Seventh Elder had enough time to react after the teleportation stopped. "She is no match for Seventh Elder now," Lin Piaomiao said. At this moment, Lu Qi waved his long sword. Sword Qi filled the sky and rushed towards Mo Tianji. He was extremely angry. If it wasn't for the accident during the teleportation, Mo Tianji would have already rushed into the 9 Regions world. If that happened, things would be serious. He would be responsible for it. He wouldn't be able to answer to the Great Elders and King Yawu. How could Mo Tianji not be angry when Lu Qi was angry? The plan was going well. But at the last moment, something went wrong with the teleportation. Now, she had to bear Lu Qi's anger. Mo Tianji had no problem dealing with Lu Qi when she was at her peak. But now, Mo Tianji had the strength of an 8-star emperor. She could not compare to Lu Qi. She could only retreat. As Mo Tianji retreated, Lu Qi chased after her. "Lu Qi, you ruined my plan. I will kill you." Mo Tianji's body flashed. She dodged Lu Qi's sword Qi attack. But as she spoke, she slowed down. Lu Qi's sword Qi penetrated her protective shield and went through her waist. Mo Tianji's white hair danced. Then, she used her movement technique, Heavenly Concubine Phantom. Although Mo Tianji had estimated Lu Qi's strength, she still underestimated him. Lu Qi pointed his sword at the sky and then slashed downwards. Countless sword Qi flew towards Mo Tianji. Back then, Lu Qi was able to turn the tide in Tianhuang City because of his strength. Mo Tianji's white hair retracted and protected her true body. But as the sword Qi collided, Mo Tianji spat out blood. Lu Qi's sword Qi was too overbearing. It was also because Lu Qi was furious and wanted to kill. Demonic wings blood escape. Mo Tianji roared. Then, the wings on her back shone with a blood-red light. Then, she scattered and retreated. K-Yong Ogyo equals 8 freebie read 90,000 novel square root, sky-piercing sword aura. Lu Qi's sword danced again. He used his strongest technique, sky-piercing sword aura. As Lu Qi waved his sword, a blinding sword aura appeared. It flew towards Mo Tianji like lightning. It passed through her right wing. Chapter 1912. Mo Tianji, who burned her essence blood to activate her innate absolute art, was extremely fast. Although she was injured, she still managed to shake Lu Qi off with a few flashes and disappeared from the Star Moon City region. Lu Qi's face was full of anger. This wasn't the result he wanted. When Lu Qi returned to the Star Moon City teleportation array, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao had also arrived. I'm ashamed. I didn't look after this place properly and allowed someone to sneak in. Something big almost happened. Lu Qi said. Seventh Sect Elder, you're overthinking. She probably had her eyes on this place for a long time. Night Sorrow invited Lu Qi into the city lord's residence and brewed a pot of tea. He knew Lu Qi wasn't in a good mood right now. It's my negligence. I didn't expect her to control a spatial treasure and sneak in. Lu Qi was still blaming himself. She probably came to the celestial realm at the same time as me after the reincarnation battlefield appeared. She has been guarding this place ever since. If it wasn't for Seventh Sect Elder, Star Moon City would have already been lost. If she sneaked into the 9-domain world, we would be in big trouble. Even Night Sorrow was a bit scared. Although his 9-region world clone could immediately take his family into the space, if a middle-class emperor came to cause trouble in the 9-region world, there was no way to stop it. Your teleportation array is very powerful. She couldn't teleport, so I had time to beat her back. Her innate absolute art is very powerful. Although I injured her, I can't make her stay. Lu Qi said. She runs very fast and can't be stopped. I can't chase after her. Night Sorrow was also very conflicted. She used her essence blood to activate her body's potential. She can't use it indefinitely. It's safer for you to return to Sky Desolate City. I'll keep watch here. This won't happen again. Lu Qi said. Night Sorrow took the teleportation crystal that Qing Emperor took back and set up another Emperor-rank teleportation array. He then refined the Emperor-rank teleportation crystal again. This time, the refinement had increased the restrictions. As long as the amount of energy carried exceeded the amount of energy Night Sorrow had in his body, he would not be able to teleport. For example, if he carried a large amount of Holy Spirit stones or a cultivator who was stronger than a sovereign emperor in a spatial treasure, he would not be able to teleport. After setting up the teleportation array, Night Sorrow set up a space imprisonment array outside the teleportation array. At the same time, he refined a few arrayed discs and gave them to Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. In order to show his respect, Night Sorrow also gave Lu Qi one. With the space imprisonment array formation, it was impossible to approach the teleportation array silently. Very good. If you do this, the chances of Mo Tianji sneaking in will be very low. It will be almost impossible. After listening to Night Sorrow's explanation, Lu Qi felt more at ease. Yi Shang then asked the Azure Supreme the Arch to open up the defensive array formation of Star Moon City, preparing for a full-scale defense. Under Lu Qi's supervision, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to Tianhuang City. After entering the residence, Night Sorrow saw the Grand Elder and Lu Qi's original body. Your martial uncle will be here soon. The Grand Elder said. Night Sorrow nodded and sat down. He knew this matter was very serious. Mo Tianji, one of the 3 great heavens of the Devil Wing clan, had arrived. This was a danger to the celestial realm. He had to find her. In just a moment, King Yawu arrived. Following which, Lu Qi told him about Mo Tianji's appearance and her cultivation. Middle-class emperor. There are many people in the celestial realm who can counter her. It shouldn't be a problem. King Yawu said. Martial uncle, Mo Tianji's cultivation realm is high. Her strength will increase quickly. When she first entered the reincarnation battlefield, she was still a sovereign emperor. Knight Sorrow expressed his opinion. Her cultivation realm is high. She will increase quickly in the early stages, but it won't be so easy in the later stages. This involves the compatibility of the soul and body. How can someone else's body compare to her original body? In a short period of time, it won't be easy for her to increase her strength. King Yawu said. Mo Tianji came to the celestial realm for a few reasons. First, she wants to take back her original body. Second, it's about her reincarnation. Other than these two, she probably wants to find allies and spies. Grand Elder said. She wants to take back her original body, so she wants to target me. The 9 region world portals are guarded by the 7 sect elders. With some defensive formations, Mo Tianji won't be able to break in. Misty Imperial City's Night Moon Villa has the defensive formation set up by Martial Uncle. With Uncle Shiguan there, it's safe. Therefore, she won't be able to do anything to me. Now, the focus is on other directions. Knight Sorrow said. She won't dare to go to the divine capital. She might go to the black dragons and the flying serpents, or find a place to cultivate. King Yawu thought for a moment and said. Grand Elder, find a fortune teller and get rid of her. That way, she'll be safe. Knight Sorrow was a little puzzled. A fortune teller was enough. Why did they need to make deductions? How can Mo Tianji not know about fortune telling? She must have a treasure that can disrupt the heavenly secrets and prevent divination. Even if she doesn't have a treasure, she'll find a way to prevent the fortune teller from divining her. Grand Elder said. Knight Sorrow sighed helplessly. He was taking things for granted. Then, King Yawu and Grand Elder decided to mobilize the spies of the various forces in the 100 Races Alliance. The Divine Devil Castle also issued a mission regarding Mo Tianji. They couldn't let Mo Tianji settle down and wander around the celestial realm as she pleased. Then, they arranged for experts to wait outside the black dragons and the flying serpents. King Yawu, Grand Elder, and Lu Qi left. Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were left to think about what to do next. Sister Xian, we should go back to the Misty Imperial City to capture her. Maybe there's a small chance that we can capture her. Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. How is that possible? Mo Tianji is an expert of the older generation. She has a lot of experience. If she doesn't come out, it'll be hard for us to find her. I understand that you want to capture her, but it's better to be safe, Lin Piaomiao said. Sister Xian, you've overlooked a problem. I've told you before that I planted a soul imprint on Mo Tianji's hair and skirt. She might have changed her skirt, but the soul imprint at the root of her hair should still be there. As long as we're within a certain range, I'll be able to sense her. Knight Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and told her his thoughts. That's right. We can give it a try. If we meet her, we'll call for someone to take care of her. Lin Piaomiao was very excited after hearing Knight Sorrow's words. She also felt that they could give it a try. What do you mean we can give it a try? If you want to take care of someone, how can you not call for us? The Great Demon King, Pu Luo, and the others entered Knight Sorrow's residence. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. Knight Sorrow recounted what had happened that day. Chapter 1913. That's fine. Although the chances of catching her aren't high, we can still try. Rui Si said. Not high. I don't think so. We all know how powerful she used to be. People like her don't believe in anything but strength. Therefore, I don't think she's gone too far. She's probably lying nearby healing. Yu Zhu refuted Rui's opinion and expressed her own opinion. Yu Zhu's thinking is correct. People like Mo Tianji believe in strength. Let's go near Star Moon Lake. Lin Piaomiao said. Soon after, the Humanitarian League set off and went to Mishti Dynasty's region. After receiving news that Night Sorrow and the others set off, the Grand Elder began to worry. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Mo Tianji's main target was Night Sorrow. She was here for Night Sorrow. Don't worry, the Humanitarian League's people are all ruthless. They are going to catch Mo Tianji. She wouldn't dare send herself to them. King Yawu, who was drinking tea with the Grand Elder, laughed. That's true. They are all rather strong. Taking care of a middle-class emperor shouldn't be a problem. The Grand Elder sat down. He knew he was too worried. Night Sorrow and the others started searching near Star Moon Lake. Night Sorrow carefully sensed. As long as Mo Tianji was nearby, he would be able to detect her. Even if she entered a spatial treasure, her aura would still leak out. Night Sorrow and the others weren't in a hurry. They started flying around Star Moon Lake. When they were tired, they would roast some fish to go with wine. After searching for half a month, they had searched all around Star Moon Lake. They had practically searched all the areas 1,000,000 miles away from the shore. Yu Zhu, it seems like your analysis was wrong. Perhaps she ran out and hid in another region to heal. Rui said. Not necessarily. It's just that we haven't found her yet. Yu Zhu insisted on her opinion. Maybe we thought she was a coward. Maybe she didn't even leave Star Moon Lake. Let's just fly above the lake and search for her. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and came to a decision. She can't be that bold, right? Reese looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. You're not her, so you won't think about her decisions. Let's just do it like this. We'll just treat this as a sightseeing tour around Star Moon Lake, Night Sorrow said. Reese did not say anything because Rain Bamboo, Big Demon King, and Pu Luo agreed with what Night Sorrow said. Reese felt that Night Sorrow's idea was bold, but it wasn't impossible. At this moment, Mo Tianji was at the bottom of Star Moon Lake, recuperating in her spatial treasure. She was very annoyed. She didn't understand at the time, but she thought about it later. It was probably because the teleportation array had set up a restriction. She didn't know why, but she didn't meet the requirements for the teleportation array, so the teleportation array stopped after it was activated. Mo Tianji couldn't wait to kill Lu Qi because Lu Qi had caused her failure. But first, she had to recover from her injuries. Lu Qi had caused her quite a bit of damage. Lu Qi's soaring sword aura was wreaking havoc in her body, trying to destroy her body. This was one of the reasons why Mo Tianji didn't go far. She stayed at the bottom of Star Moon Lake. If she continued to run, she would have to burn her essence blood, which was very damaging to her body. Mo Tianji's realm was high, but healing required energy. She was an 8-star emperor, so it was very difficult for her to expel and refine the soaring sword aura that Lu Qi had left in her body. She had been refining it for a long time in the time acceleration, but she had only refined a small part of it. It would take a long time to completely refine it. Mo Tianji was helpless. She couldn't move because she had been exposed. The celestial realm would be on guard against her. Even if she went out now, she wouldn't be able to do anything. It was better for her to recover in peace. After searching half of Star Moon Lake, there were still no results. Night Sorrow brought the Humanitarian League group to Star Moon City. Everyone needed to rest. After resting for a day, Night Sorrow and the others planned to continue searching. Night Sorrow, Mo Tianji ran from the northwest direction. She was in a hurry, so she shouldn't have changed directions, said Lu Qi, who knew about Night Sorrow and the others' plan. Yi Shan slapped his forehead. During this period of time, he had been investigating the Star Moon Lake area to the east of Star Moon City, so he hadn't thought to ask Lu Qi. After knowing the direction Mo Tianji had gone, Night Sorrow started searching in that direction. Lu Qi had lost track of Mo Tianji after chasing for a while because Mo Tianji had burned her essence blood to use her innate talent. In such a situation, she had to either leave quickly or hide after leaving Lu Qi's search range. According to Yu Zhu's point of view, Mo Tianji wouldn't have gone too far. So, they just had to follow the path and search slowly. It would be best if they could find something, but if not, it would just be a waste of energy. After Night Sorrow and the others passed Lu Qi's search range, they started searching slowly. On the second night, Yi Shang raised his arm and stopped the people behind him because he felt a faint soul aura from himself. "What's going on?" asked Lin Piaomiao. "I feel my soul presence, but I can't pinpoint its location. It means it's not in the same space as me, but it's not too far away," Night Sorrow said and retreated with the others. He knew Mo Tianji's soul power was very strong. If they got too close, Mo Tianji's soul power would detect them. After retreating to an area that Night Sorrow thought was safe, they stopped. So excited. "What should we do?" asked Reese. "It's still difficult because I can't pinpoint her exact location. If we search recklessly, she'll be alerted. I'm afraid she'll run away once she's alerted," said Night Sorrow. "Alliance Master, don't worry. The 7th sect elder injured her. Pu Luo shouldn't be a problem. Plus, that cunning woman is still injured," said Reese. "What do you all think?" Night Sorrow looked at the people around him. "Damn, she's just an 8-star emperor. No matter how famous she was in the past, she's weak now," said the Great Demon King. "Then let's continue searching. Everyone, get ready to attack at any time. If we make a big commotion, she'll notice and run away at any time. Everyone, keep your soul power in check." After Yi Shang finished speaking, he went to the area where he had sensed the aura and slowly searched the area ahead. After moving forward for a while, Night Sorrow realized the feeling had weakened. Then, he returned to the place where the feeling was the strongest. Then, he searched left and right to confirm the area where the feeling was the strongest. Because they weren't in the same space, Night Sorrow could only confirm the distance before he could confirm the location. Chapter 1914. Inside the spatial treasure, Mo Tianji was refining Lu Qi's soaring sword force. When the energy in her body was almost depleted, Mo Tianji decided to take some elixirs to recover. While taking the elixirs, she used her soul power to scan outside the spatial treasure. Mo Tianji's expression changed. Mo Tianji's expression changed. She had discovered Yi Shang and the others. This was a fatal crisis for her. She was not in a good state at the moment. Her body was still ravaged by the soaring sword force and the after-effects of burning her essence blood. Besides, Mo Tianji also knew that the people searching for her were not newbies. Pu Luo was a registered expert in the Demon Wing clan. After all, there were only so many law enforcement elders in the 100 Races Alliance. There were not many who were strong in combat, and Pu Luo was one of them. Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King were also recorded in the Demon Wing clan. They were not elders, but their combat strength was outstanding. They had once led a group to heavily injure the Demon Wing clan. Otherwise, the Demon Wing clan would not have used Yu Kun to ambush the group led by Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King. Yu Zhu and Rui Si were also recorded. They were the two strongest elders beside Pu Luo. Now that they were all here, Mo Tianji felt the severity of the situation. She did not dare to act rashly. After thinking about it, Tianji felt that she could only risk her life. She was sure that Night Sorrow and the others had already discovered her. As for how, she did not know. Night Sorrow, are you sure she's here? The great demon king's voice rang in their divine seas. This was Pu Luo's suggestion. They communicated through soul voice transmission. Tianji was nearby. Even if she could not hear Night Sorrow and the others' conversation, she could tell from their lips. Yes, I'm sure she's nearby. She should be in a spatial treasure. She's not in the same spatial world as us, so I can't pinpoint her exact location. I can only use my senses to narrow down the range. Night Sorrow's voice rang in their divine seas. Then continued to narrow down the range. The smaller the range, the better. Once it's small enough, we can catch her, said Pu Luo. Then, they continued to search. In order to prevent Tianji from ambushing Night Sorrow, Pu Luo followed closely behind Night Sorrow. In the end, Night Sorrow narrowed the range to a radius of 5 kilometers. He could not reduce the range any further. You guys split up and block the way. I'll grab her. The great demon king arrived at the center of the 10-mile radius. He stretched out his arms and released his domain, enveloping the 10-mile radius area. Tianji, there's no way you wouldn't know that we've made such a big commotion to capture you. But don't move. If you move, we'll discover you. You can't stay still either. Overturn the rivers and seas, fire of destruction. The great demon king shouted at Tianji. Then, he shook his arms. The lake water within a radius of 12 miles flew up and compressed into a ball of water. Then, the great demon king released a ball of black fire to envelop it. As the black flames burned, the water balls condensed from the lake water within a radius of 10 miles evaporated continuously, then turned into nothingness. If Tianji's spatial Dharma treasure was in the lake water, it would not be refined but would be discovered. It's not in the water. The great demon king looked at the soil at the bottom of the lake. However, he asked Night Sorrow mentally if he could still feel it. After receiving Night Sorrow's confirmation, the great demon king smiled. You're hiding it very well. Again. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. The great demon king grabbed the air with his right hand and pulled out a large piece of soil from the bottom of the lake. Then, he continued to refine it with the fire of destruction. Tianji knew that if she did not move, she would be in a passive position. The great demon king would soon discover her location. When the great demon king pulled out soil and sand from the bottom of the lake again, Tianji moved. She directly used the heavenly concubine phantom. After countless phantoms appeared, Tianji's real body appeared in the area between Night Sorrow and Yuzhu. Then, she used the demonic wings blood escape. Fight? Tianji did not want to fight because it was unrealistic. There was no one to bully here. Of course, Night Sorrow was easier to bully, but she could not bully him either. Her real body is here. Desolate destruction palm. Night Sorrow shouted. Then, he sent out a palm with the strongest control effect. After sending out a palm with his left hand, Night Sorrow stabbed the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear in his right hand at Tianji's figure, which he felt the strongest. The power of virtue supported the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear as he used the destruction true dragon incantation. How could Tianji fight with Night Sorrow? Yuzhu and Lin Piaomiao had already charged over. Tianji's 3,000 feet long white hair danced in the air and broke through Night Sorrow's Sky Emperor Destruction Palm's control of space. Then, her figure flashed as she used the demonic shadow blood escape. Night Sorrow's Destruction True Dragon Incantation's confinement effect was dispersed by Tianji's white hair. However, the spear light still shot into Tianji's chest. After a muffled groan, Tianji's figure instantly sped up to an unimaginable speed. She didn't dodge Night Sorrow's attack because she didn't want to be interrupted. Pu Luo and the Great Demon King started to chase. The others followed closely behind. Among them, Pu Luo and the Great Demon King were the fastest. Night Sorrow used the Void Step, but he still couldn't catch up. Lin Piaomiao was pulling Night Sorrow forward. The speed of an Imperial Emperor and an Imperial Emperor's Tribulation Cultivator couldn't be compared, even if you were good at speed. This treacherous woman can even burn her essence blood. Yu Zhu cursed. Burning my essence blood is better than being surrounded, Lin Piaomiao said. Mo Tianji used her soul power to detect the pursuers behind her. She burned her essence blood and sped up. She had to get rid of them. After a while, Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. He couldn't feel his soul power. This meant that the distance between them was too far. He wasn't strong enough. This was the reason why he couldn't catch up. 15 minutes later, Night Sorrow and the others saw Pu Luo and the Great Demon King. Night Sorrow, I'm sorry. This woman burned her essence blood without caring about the cost. We couldn't catch up, Pu Luo said apologetically. This woman is good at escaping. We didn't want this to happen. No one needs to apologize. Night Sorrow smiled at Pu Luo. We miscalculated. Let's not tell anyone about this. Otherwise, we'll be scolded, the Great Demon King said. Haha. This is our mistake. If we inform the Grand Elder or King Yowu, this woman won't be able to escape. She got lucky this time. It's just that the Alliance Master gave her a shot, Pu Luo said. It's okay. She burned her essence blood twice. The after effects are probably very serious. She'll be obedient from now on. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that no one wanted this to happen. It'll be hard for her to use the strength of an Imperial Emperor. Her body can't take it. Her body will collapse if she uses the power of an Imperial Emperor. Pu Luo nodded. Do you think she'll notice the soul imprint I left on her? If not, we can continue to catch her, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Chapter 1915. This time, Mo Tianji ran far away. She ran tens of millions of miles. Her body was very weak, so she went into the spatial treasure to rest. After entering the spatial magical treasure, Mo Tianji immediately released her domain and enveloped the inside of the magical treasure. She knew that she had something that Yi Shang and the others could use to locate her. If she wanted to be safe and recover, she had to solve this problem. Mo Tianji checked the items in the spatial treasure and storage ring one by one. She didn't find any problems. Then Mo Tianji looked at herself and scanned her body with her soul power. When her soul power scanned her body, a light appeared under the hair at the back of her head. Bastard! No wonder I couldn't catch you in the reincarnation battlefield. You left a soul mark. Mo Tianji directly scattered the soul mark. The more Mo Tianji thought about it, the angrier she got. She had been famous for countless years and had never suffered any losses. No one could scheme against her. But recently, she had fallen one after another because of Night Sorrow. Because she didn't scheme against Night Sorrow. After scattering Night Sorrow's soul mark, Mo Tianji rubbed her chest. Her chest had been pierced by Night Sorrow's spear light. Her robe was pierced and the place where she was attacked still hurt. Looking at the torn robe, Mo Tianji searched and found that there was only one set of robe in her storage ring. Now, she could only change into it. With energy circulating, the robe was not dirty. After returning to Xingyue City, Night Sorrow called for a feast. The people from the Humanitarian League were unhappy because they had been careless and let Mo Tianji escape. 2Y Update K New Fastest X0 Jiabilu Qi was a bit puzzled. The people from the Humanitarian League were all cheerful people. They weren't like this normally. What's wrong with you guys? It's fine if you didn't find her. There's no need to be unhappy. Lu Qi said. I thought of a problem. After she is safe, she will definitely check herself. The soul mark I left in her hair will definitely be found. But today, she is wearing a purple robe. I also left a soul imprint on her white silk skirt. The purple robe was cut by my spear. Is it possible for her to wear the white silk skirt again? Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and the others and said. There really is such a possibility. Pu Luo's eyes lit up. What are you talking about? Could it be that you found Mo Tianji and she ran away? Lu Qi was stunned. Yes. She burned her blood essence and used her innate skill. We couldn't stop her. We chased her for millions of miles, but she ran away again. Pu Luo said. You're all foolish. Since you found her, you'll naturally find more helpers to kill her directly. Lu Qi glanced at Pu Luo. Seventh Elder, don't tell the Grand Elder about this. We'll get scolded. We'll continue to capture them, Night Sorrow said to Lu Qi. No, you just didn't think of it. She burned her blood essence again. She's having a hard time. Lu Qi smiled. He knew that Night Sorrow and the others were unhappy. There was no point in scolding them, so he comforted them. Night Sorrow shot her with his spear. I chased her for a while and made her burn a lot of blood essence. Pu Luo said. Seventh Elder, drink this jar of good wine. Night Sorrow took out a jar of green blood wine and gave it to Lu Qi. Actually, you've already won. You were able to find her and trick her. That's already very good. Lu Qi opened the jar of green blood wine that Night Sorrow gave him and poured a cup for everyone. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow and the others left. They still wanted to look for her. Mo Tianji didn't stay in the same place this time. She recovered a little and left after scouting. She had to find a safe place to rest. The Humanitarian League's people were crazy. She was worried that she would be dug up again. Also, she couldn't go to human territory. She reckoned that the entire celestial realm was looking for her. After a fruitless search, Night Sorrow and the others returned to the ethereal imperial city. Lin Piaomiao ordered all the cities in the Mishti dynasty, even the small towns and villages, to pay attention to Mo Tianji's whereabouts. Pu Luo gave the order of the law enforcement clan elder. All the surrounding factions were to put Mo Tianji on the wanted list. He also personally went to the Godly Devil Castle to request for Mo Tianji's arrest. At the same time, he gave the mission of guarding the teleportation portals. After the arrangements were made, Night Sorrow and the others stayed in the ethereal imperial city. Mo Tianji's activities were also in this area. She couldn't use the teleportation portals. If she wanted to fly and travel in the celestial realm, it would be exhausting. Are you still thinking about Mo Tianji? Lin Piaomiao came to Night Sorrow, who was thinking by the waterside pavilion. It's a pity. I should have prepared some backup plans. The main thing is that I underestimated her. If we could get rid of her, we would have gotten rid of a huge threat, Night Sorrow said as he nodded. Just now, I brought a clairvoyant to Xingyue City and followed her traces. The results weren't clear. She has a way to avoid divination, Lin Piaomiao said. What we're worried about now is her sneak attack. However, I have a way to deal with that. Last time, my 9-domain world clone grabbed a strand of her white hair. That strand of white hair is with me. If Mo Tianji gets close, that strand of white hair will definitely react, said Yishang. Yes. As long as we don't let her get my body and harm Jun Xuanji, there's no point for her to come to the celestial realm. Lin Piaomiao's eyes lit up. She felt that Night Sorrow's thoughts were indeed meticulous. He could even think of some problems. Night Sorrow returned to the 9-domain world and obtained Emotianji's hair from the 9-domain world clone. He didn't pull the hair of Emotianji's body because it would alert her. Night Sorrow cut off a strand of the strand of hair and gave it to Lu Qi. Holding the strand of hair, Lu Qi understood what it meant. This is good. She'll know once she gets close. Lu Qi wrapped the strand of hair around her finger and used her energy to stimulate it. As long as Emotianji appeared, the strand of hair would react. After returning to the ethereal imperial city, Night Sorrow left a strand of Emotianji's white hair for Shi Yan, who was staying in the Night Moon Villa. Next, he went to the god capital and left another strand of hair for Shi Yan's body. It could be said that Emotianji shouldn't get close to these 3 places or she would be discovered. After doing all this, Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal imperial city. After settling down, Night Sorrow cultivated his spear art every day. His few absolute arts were already very mature. However, without his body, there was a limit to what his clone could do. Emotianji found a safe place to start recovering. She knew that it would take a long time for her to fully recover, but this was something that couldn't be helped. She had carelessly fallen into Night Sorrow's trap. She planned to recover first before going to the Black Dragons and start her plan from there. Chapter 1916. So it's Lord Seven Rain Monarch. I wonder if Lord Monarch has any plans for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow asked. Nothing much. I just want to talk to you for a bit. Come to my residence. The Seven Rain Monarch sized up Night Sorrow. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, Lord Monarch's residence. Isn't that too far? I can't leave right now. Night Sorrow hesitated before speaking. It's not far. I have a residence in 9 Heaven City. Let's go. The Seven Rain Monarch waved his arm and wrapped Night Sorrow in energy as they began to fly. A moment later, they arrived in front of a luxurious residence. In front of the residence, the Seven Rain Monarch released Night Sorrow, who was wrapped in energy. This is my residence in 9 Heaven City. Don't experts cultivate their bodies and minds, and live in simple and elegant courtyards? Yishan said as he looked at the incomparably luxurious mansion. You don't want to live a good life and choose to live like a monk. That's stupid. There's something wrong with your mind. The Seven Rain Monarch scoffed at Night Sorrow's opinion. That's not it either. Maybe it's because we have different pursuits. Night Sorrow said. Maybe. Come, let's go in and have a cup of tea. Then you can go back. You might have to go into seclusion from tomorrow onwards. The Seven Rain Monarch swayed his skirt and entered the residence. Night Sorrow had no reason not to enter. Besides, Night Sorrow felt that the Seven Rain Monarch didn't have any evil intentions. A monarch wouldn't have any thoughts about a holy king. Even if he did, he wouldn't have to waste so much effort. There were too many ways. Sit. I just have a few things to say. Those bastards are all watching. If I don't talk to you today, I won't have the chance tomorrow. The Seven Rain Monarch said. Lord Seven Rain's Monarch, please speak. I, Night Sorrow, am all ears, Night Sorrow said. Have some tea first. It's like this, you are from a small world, and the profound heaven world is not your home. It doesn't matter which large world you live in. This Great One has invited you to the Seven Rain world, and you can join this Great One's Seven Rain Valley. You don't have to be in a hurry to reject. The Seven Rain Sovereign brewed a pot of tea and poured a cup for Night Sorrow. Master Monarch, I am a half-king now. Even a king shouldn't be so serious, right? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yes, but you are different. I have high hopes for you. You might not agree for the time being. Young people are stubborn. So, whenever you have any ideas, you can come to the Seven Rain world to find me. This is my messaging crystal. Take it. The Seven Rain Monarch tossed a messaging crystal to Night Sorrow. Lord Monarch, is this appropriate? Night Sorrow was a little taken aback because the Seven Rains Monarch's words were very formal and very serious. It's appropriate. When you are in danger, you can crush this messaging crystal. I might be able to help you once. However, when that time comes, don't reject this great one. The Seven Rains Monarch said with a smile. Thank you for your kindness, Seven Rains Monarch. Night Sorrow will remember your kindness today. Night Sorrow stood up and clasped his hands towards the Seven Rains Monarch. Good. You have to go to the Will of Heaven and Earth cave to cultivate within the next 100 years. When you come out of seclusion, you might be greeted with a storm. The Grey Cloud Monarch and the Moon Monarch are both vengeful people. They will not let you off easily. If you can't take it, the Seven Rains world is a good place for you to go. The Seven Rains Monarch said with a smile. Night Sorrow will remember. Night Sorrow nodded. All right, then you can go back. I think the people around you are also very anxious. The Seven Rains Monarch said when he saw Night Sorrow. After clasping his hands towards the Seven Rains Monarch again, Night Sorrow walked out of the mansion's main hall. Just as Night Sorrow was about to leave the main hall, the Seven Rains Monarch said, Night Sorrow, this great one is very curious about your title. Is it convenient for you? If it's convenient, you can tell me. This great one is too curious. It's fine if it's inconvenient. Standing at the entrance of the main hall, Night Sorrow considered whether he should say it or not. If he said it, it might cause trouble. If he didn't say it, he would be letting down the Seven Rains Monarch's kindness. It would make him feel uncomfortable. I received a title when I was in the small world. In the Nine Heavens Pagoda, this title has been strengthened. It is now called Immortal. Night Sorrow said and walked out of the main hall. Don't worry. This great one will keep this secret for you. Before you have the power to protect yourself, you have to keep it a secret as well. When Night Sorrow walked out of the mansion, the Seven Rains Monarch's voice entered Night Sorrow's ears. Hearing the Seven Rains Monarch's words, Night Sorrow felt at ease. The Seven Rains Monarch's words were kind. If he had bad intentions, he wouldn't have been able to leave this mansion. After Night Sorrow left, the Seven Rains Monarch couldn't calm down for a long time. She knew that she was right about Night Sorrow. The immortal title was too terrifying. Even monarchs didn't dare to say that they were immortal. As for whether Night Sorrow's title was official or not, the Seven Rains Monarch didn't doubt it. She didn't understand the world Night Sorrow had lived in. Perhaps it was very small. The title bestowed to Night Sorrow might not be official. However, this time, Nine Heavens world recognized Night Sorrow's title. The title was strengthened by the Nine Heavens Pagoda. This meant that it was effective. At the very least, the Nine Heavens world recognized it. What was the situation in the Nine Heavens world? It was the core of a group of worlds. It was a large world in the 100 worlds. The recognition of the Nine Heavens world was equivalent to the recognition of the heavenly Tao. Good. The Nine Heavens world group finally has an outstanding youth. The Seven Rains Monarch took a big sip of tea and said. Night Sorrow left the Seven Rains Monarch's mansion and flew directly to the guest house. Ha! You're back. You've been drinking for so long. Qian Jinyu said with a smile. At this time, there was a banquet in the courtyard of the guest house. Night Sorrow's parents, Wu Lingfei, Zhu Jiuyun, Xue Shi, and Night Sorrow's 3 wives were all present. Night Sorrow wasn't from the Xiantian dynasty, but he was from the mysterious sky world. The mysterious sky world was the representative of the mysterious sky world. Night Sorrow had done his best to win face for the mysterious sky world, which meant that he had won glory for the mysterious sky world. Sorry. I've made everyone wait for a long time. Night Sorrow said. You're so domineering. This time, you showed off a lot. Qian Ziwei said with a smile. It wasn't easy. Night Sorrow nodded at Qian Ziwei. Is not equal to me is not equal to by is not equal to get is not equal to. It really wasn't easy. Although you drank one meal, you still have to drink this one. Qian Zhenyu said. Brother, you're so domineering. Qian Yu said as he patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. After drinking, Qian Zhenyu said, your original body will go into seclusion. Your clone will stay behind. You can be with your family and deal with some trivial matters. I think so too. It's meaningless for my clone to follow my original body to cultivate. It's better to go back and cultivate blacksmithing and array formation. Night Sorrow nodded. Brother, when you return to the mysterious sky world, come to the mysterious sky world first. Take your siblings and have a good time. They've been worried sick for the past few days. Qian Yu said with a smile. After returning to his room, Night Sorrow pondered. He felt that it would be difficult for him to have peace in the future. This time, he had stirred up trouble. He was worried that the Tianding Gate wouldn't be able to withstand the revenge of the Zhangyun monarch and the Moon monarch. Chapter 1917. Then, Beixing brought the 8-dragon cauldron to the 2 extreme cities' teleportation array. The guards of the 2 extreme cities' teleportation array stopped Beixing. I want to go to the 9-domain world. I'm Night Sorrow's friend. Beixing said. Hearing that he was Night Sorrow's friend, the guards let him go because Yan Tianpo's voice transmission had reached their ears. After 2 teleportations, Beixing arrived at the city in the sky. After exiting the city in the sky's teleportation array, Night Sorrow, Xueshi, and the rest came out of the 8-dragon cauldron. Comfortable. Night Sorrow stretched his back. At this moment, Sikong Chiyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi appeared in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow did not say anything and went forward to hug each of them. Why did you come back? Yang Lei asked. Can you come back home and let me have a cup of tea first? Oh right, this is my friend Beixing. He's a very good friend. Night Sorrow introduced. The 3 sisters are so beautiful. Meilon, Qiuju, each has their own style. Night Sorrow, you're so lucky. Beixing said with a smile. Then, the group arrived at Night Sorrow's residence. Yang Lei also went to the Spacetime Pagoda to inform those who had not broken through that Night Sorrow had returned. After a while, everyone who was cultivating in the Spacetime Pagoda came out. Seeing Night Sorrow, everyone was very happy. Under his mother's Yuqing's questioning, Night Sorrow told her about his situation in the sky profound world. Of course, he did not say anything about the dangerous things. Then, Night Sorrow told her about his thoughts and decision. Great! After we have our own city, we will have a firm foothold in the sky profound world. Sky Underworld Saint said happily. Currently, we can only build and not make it public because we can't withstand the attacks of others. We can only wait for Night Sorrow to enter the King Realm before we have the capital to establish ourselves. Zhu Jiuyun said. That's right. We can't publicize it for now, but the construction of the city can begin, Night Sorrow said. Without a King Realm cultivator, we don't have enough confidence. I don't know how long it will take for our faction to have a King Realm cultivator. It's quite depressing, Jun Xuanji sighed. Haha. This is the situation that no one is clear about. If it wasn't for Yi Shang wanting to achieve greater things, he might have already entered the Sovereign King Realm. Wu Lingfei smiled and explained Yi Shang's situation. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. King's realm was unreachable in their eyes. It was a realm that was very far away. Everyone only had a wish for a king to appear in the Nine Realms world, but now, Wu Lingfei said that Night Sorrow had already reached this level. Night Sorrow is now a dual attribute half-step king. Once he takes another step forward, king will be no match for him, Zhu Jiuyan said. All right. Long Xianqing roared. This roar gave everyone a fright. Commander, leave the construction of the city to us. You can go and cultivate in peace, Long Xianqing said. After a discussion, everyone felt that it was very suitable to place the transfer array in the city in the sky. This was because there were no outsiders here, and everyone was a core member of the Nine Realms world. Everyone agreed, and Yi Shang set up the inter-realm teleportation array not far from the side of the mansion. Night Sorrow set up 1,000 derivation illusionary array outside the transfer array. At the same time, he told everyone that if anything happened, they just had to insert spirit stones and the array would activate. After installing the realm teleportation crystal, it lit up. Night Sorrow brought everyone to the Seven Nights Mountain to take a look. Everyone was very satisfied with this place, and felt that it was very suitable to build the base of the Nine Realms world here. Father, the transfer array is in the city in the sky, in the territory of the Night Moon Empire. There are more craftsmen building the Seven Night City in the Night Moon Empire, Night Sorrow said to Yi Wuyo. Alright, that's not a problem. But building a city requires planning and resources, Yi Wuyo nodded. There are spirit stones in here. Father, take them and deal with them as you see fit. Night Sorrow took out 5 to 6 storage rings. Son, we can use the resources of the Nine Realms world directly. So, we can't use the spirit stones, Yu Qing said with a smile. Night Sorrow, we can do this. Build a secret transfer array in the Big Dipper City, and send your people there to purchase resources from other places, then bring them over, Bei Xing said. Yes. But the people purchasing the resources are too weak. If they are not strong enough, they will be suspicious. Senior Long Xianqing, you can arrange it as you see fit. But the people who have been to the Tianding Gate must not show themselves, or they will be targeted. Also, set up an ordinary transfer array to connect to other places. The transfer array is currently a secret of the Seven Night City, so it must be hidden well, Night Sorrow said. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, everyone nodded. The transfer array is extremely valuable, and we cannot afford to lose it. Although the transfer array cannot be attacked, there must be people guarding it. If there is a problem, crush my soul crystal. Night Sorrow gave a soul crystal to Long Xianqing. Then, he changed to another area and set up another transmission array. Since the transmission crystals were installed, the transmission arrays were separated from the ordinary ones. This way, it would be safer. Then, Night Sorrow asked Wu Lingfei and Zhu Jiuyan's clone to stay here. Originally, Night Sorrow wanted Xueshi to stay as well, but Xueshi was unwilling. She felt that Night Sorrow had to have someone by his side. Then, Night Sorrow, Bei Xing, and Xueshi left the Seven Nights Mountain and returned to the Big Dipper City. Under Bei Xing's suggestion, Night Sorrow set up a transfer array in Bei Xing's private residence. There were guards in Bei Xing's residence, and Bei Xing instructed them to destroy the transfer array if any strangers attacked here. Gee. Cool Square Root a Craftsman Net version 6. Not long after Night Sorrow set up the transfer crystal, Long Xianqing, Xian Wenxiu, and the others arrived. Night Sorrow, one of your people should stay here. This way, it will be easier to identify the people entering and leaving the transfer array. The guards in my residence can fight, but they will not recognize your people, Bei Xing said. Then I will do it, Shang Luo said. Night Sorrow set up another transfer crystal on the transfer array in Bei Xing's residence. He wanted to set up a transfer array in the Sage Pavilion as well. This way, even if someone was watching him, he could return to the 9 regions world without any problems. Night Sorrow felt that everything was almost done. He did not have to worry about the construction of the 7 Nights world anymore. Yi Xiang calmed down in the Celestial Master Pavilion, but the rest of the world was not. The sovereigns were all wondering whether Yi Xiang had obtained the soul cultivation liquid or not. Although they had guessed that Yi Xiang's chances of getting it were slim, there was still a chance. If there were only 3 drops, then other than Lord Xian Tian, no one else would have a chance. But what if there were more than 3 drops? If a sovereign went to another sovereign's world, there would be a reason. If a sovereign went to the Xian celestial realm to look for Night Sorrow, Lord Xian Tian would not tolerate it. Chapter 1918. The Tsangyan sovereign did have this thought in mind. However, the consequences of starting a realm war would be dire. He needed to find allies. In terms of strength, the Grey Cloud sect was not strong enough. The Grey Cloud sovereign could only control slightly more than half of the Sky Dome realm strength because the No Beginning sovereign still controlled a portion of it. Furthermore, the portion controlled by the No Beginning sovereign was the elite force. In comparison, the Xian celestial realm only had one ruler, the Xian Tian monarch. The entire Xian celestial realm was under the control of the Xian Tian monarch. The Ashen Cloud sect was unable to fight against an entire realm. After pondering for a moment, the Tsangyan monarch teleported to the Demon Moon world. Just as the Grey Cloud sovereign arrived at the Demon Moon world, the Demon Moon sovereign appeared. Of course, it was his soul avatar. Tsangyan, why have you come to my Moon Demon world? The Moon Demon World Overlord looked at the Tsangyan monarch and asked. You didn't show up recently because of the continent of the 9 clouds. Do you want to be as strong as Monarch Shinshao? Now, we have an opportunity, the Tsangyan sovereign said. Moon Monarch's face darkened when he heard the Tsangyan monarch mention the 9 heavens realm. He had lost face because of the 2 monarchs from the 9 heavens realm. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Net 0-inch soul nurturing liquid. The reason why the Divine Firmament Sovereign is so much stronger than us is because he once used the soul cultivation liquid to nourish his soul. His soul power is strong, and the will of heaven and earth is more effective than us. However, we might have a chance now, the Tsangyan sovereign said. If there's such a good thing, you, Ash Cloud, will go crazy and snatch it. Will you think of others? I, the Moon Demon Sovereign, am not someone you can use as a tool. The Moon Demon Sovereign narrowed his eyes as he looked at the Grey Cloud Sovereign. The Tsangyan Sovereign pondered for a moment before explaining the whole story to the Moon Demon Sovereign. You mean there is a high possibility? Moon Monarch asked after a moment of thought. Naturally, the Ashen Cloud sect has to be the vanguard when fighting against the profound celestial realm. Tell me, do you think I would do this if it was impossible? The Ashen Cloud sovereign asked. Have you thought about it? If we join forces and declare war on the Xian celestial realm, will the Xian celestial realm find other allies? Qiyu, Hailan, and Tingxi are all on good terms with him, so I won't do it. You can go back now. The Moon Monarch waved his hand at the Tsangyan monarch, indicating that he was sending off his guest. The Grey Cloud sovereign exhaled deeply as he sat on the teleportation array and left. The Demon Moon sovereign wasn't willing to form an alliance. His plan for a realm war could only go down the drain. The Moon Demon Monarch sneered as he watched the Tsangyan monarch leave. He would never engage in a life-and-death battle with the profound celestial realm. That would be equivalent to sacrificing 800 of his own men. However, he would never let go of the opportunity to obtain the soul cultivation liquid. After returning to the Demon Moon Hall, the Demon Moon Monarch gathered his subordinates, the Beginner King, and ordered them to capture Night Sorrow at all costs. Demon Moon Monarch's 3 junior kings immediately accepted the order and went to the mystic celestial realm to look for Night Sorrow. After the Tsangyan sovereign returned to the Tsangyan sect, he also made the same arrangements. Since the battle of forces could no longer continue, they could only continue with the one-on-one battles. However, he knew that the chances of success were very low. If Knight Sorrow wanted to hide, it would be very difficult to find him. Furthermore, the Black Heaven Sovereign was also protecting him. Knight Sorrow knew that the world would be very chaotic. Therefore, he and Xueshi stayed in the Sage Master Pavilion and lived a quiet life. Knight Sorrow spent his days refining pills, refining weapons, and cultivating his combat skills. This was because he still needed to cultivate the combination of the 3 combat skills that he had just researched. There was still room for improvement. While Xueshi was taking care of Knight Sorrow, she was also guiding Ningyun and Qiyue in their cultivation. Ningyun and Qiyue knew about the relationship between Xueshi and Knight Sorrow. Although they were not husband and wife in name, they were no different from husband and wife. The two of them called Xueshi aunt. Knight Sorrow also frequently guided Ningyun and Qiyue in their cultivation. He would explain his recent cultivation of energy techniques to the two of them. Master, after reaching the Saint Realm, one has to rely on the power of laws to fight. Does that mean that energy techniques are useless? Qiyue asked. In the past, I had the same idea as you. However, that is not the case. Let me demonstrate it to you. Knight Sorrow said. In fact, after entering the Saint Realm, he had neglected the research and development of energy techniques. Knight Sorrow pulled out the Space Splitter Spear from his back. With a shake of his hand, he executed the Space Whirling Dragon Kill. The combination of shock wave and wave force attack blasted a black hole the size of a water tank in the space in front of him. Looking at the shocked Ningyun and Qiyue, as well as Xueshi, whose eyes were filled with astonishment, Knight Sorrow waved his hand and flattened the black hole. What kind of combat skill is this? Xueshi asked. Space Whirling Dragon Kill, Space Shock Wave, and Desolation Shock Force. Knight Sorrow said. These days, when he was cultivating, his energy was restrained. Therefore, Xueshi and the others did not know the power of Knight Sorrow's combat skills. Master, I was wrong. This is too powerful. I have to cultivate it. Qiyue bowed to Knight Sorrow. Take your time. It's fine as long as you understand the concept correctly. Knight Sorrow said. After explaining the theory of energy exertion skills to Ningyun and Qiyue, Knight Sorrow went to refine pills. He had collected a lot of pill materials in the Boundless Soul Realm. Half a month had passed. Ningyun and Qiyue planned to go out to gain experience because actual combat was the best way to temper people. Knight Sorrow did not object to the two's experience. Knight Sorrow also never objected to such things. What he could do was to guide them carefully and help them with some resources. Shortly after Ningyun and Qiyue left, Bei Xing came. She told Knight Sorrow that the primary king of the Demon Moon Realm, Grey Cloud Sect, and Elemental Spirit Realm had all arrived in the mysterious Celestial Realm. Their target was obviously Knight Sorrow. All of this was within Knight Sorrow's expectations. Now that he was back, whether he got the soul cultivation liquid or not, the other party would make plans according to what he got. For this, Knight Sorrow felt that there was no need to pay attention to it. The courtyard he lived in had an array formation that isolated probing. It was very difficult for the other party to find him. He still needed to refine pills and forge tools. Bei Xing supported Knight Sorrow's idea. If Knight Sorrow did not move, there would not be any trouble. The Grey Cloud sect did not get any benefits when they came to Big Dipper City last time. Now they would not be too presumptuous in Big Dipper City. After 2 days of peace, Bei Xing brought news again. The news made Knight Sorrow feel disgusted. The spies of the Sky South dynasty had once again acted as the lackeys of the Grey Cloud sect. Despicable people are really invincible. Xuexi's face was full of killing intent. Well, there will be a day to deal with them, so don't worry. Knight Sorrow was now used to the despicable conduct of the Sky South dynasty. In addition, the primary king of the Scarlet Fire sovereign has also come from the Scarlet Fire world. The mysterious celestial realm has really become the core of the turmoil. Bei Xing shook her head helplessly. Knight Sorrow just smiled. The tree wants to be quiet, but the wind will not stop. This was the portrayal of his current situation. What could he do? The only thing he could do was to stabilize and wait for his main body to break through. After his main body broke through, the fighting strength of Knight Sorrow's clone would increase. Chapter 1919. I see. That's much safer. It's very difficult for a beginner king to kill me. In the Boundless Soul world, it's not like I haven't escaped from an intermediate king, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Without an intermediate king, Knight Sorrow wasn't too afraid. But in fact, sometimes, you don't look for trouble, but trouble comes to you. Knight Sorrow wanted to cultivate quietly, but trouble came again. Ningyun returned with serious injuries. Looking at the seriously injured Ningyun, Knight Sorrow frowned. Where's Chiyue? Master, I'm sorry. I didn't protect junior sister Chiyue well. Junior sister Chiyue was captured. Ningyun knelt on the ground, bleeding from the corner of her mouth. Yishan's expression was very ugly. He attached great importance to Chiyue's safety. He stretched out his hand to help Ningyun up and then sent a stream of energy to stabilize Ningyun's injuries. Tell Master about the situation. Who captured your junior sister? Yanmen's sect. Junior sister lacked a main ingredient for alchemy, so we went to Yanmen Mountain to look for it. In the end, we encountered people from Yanmen's sect's Dongyan Mountain Hole. They spoke rudely and said that they wanted to capture junior sister Chiyue and give her to the young hall master as a concubine. After a fight, I was thrown off a cliff. I didn't die, so I came back to report, Ningyun said. Knight Sorrow took out a map and circled it, finding the location of Yanmen Mountain Range's Dongyan Mountain. Exhaling, Knight Sorrow put away the map and handed Ningyun a bottle of pills. Take the pills to heal your injuries. Xuexi, take care of this place. I'll go with you. Xuexi said. No need. If it works, I can do it myself. If it doesn't work, it's useless for you to follow. Don't mention this to anyone for the time being. Knight Sorrow entered the teleportation array after saying that. When he arrived at North Star's residence, Knight Sorrow put on his mask. After leaving North Star's residence, Knight Sorrow entered the teleportation array. Originally, Knight Sorrow had planned to go to Seven Knights Mountain and then fly to Mount Dongyan. That would be relatively safe, but after some calculations, Knight Sorrow felt that it was a waste of time. Time was of the essence, so even if it was risky, he had to teleport. Knight Sorrow entered the teleportation array and teleported away for a while. A beginner king frowned. A half-step king. This doesn't match with Big Dipper City's half-step king. Could it be him? However, by the time he entered the teleportation array, Knight Sorrow had already disappeared. After a few teleportations, Knight Sorrow arrived at Yanmen City. Then, he flew towards Dongyan Mountain. There was a teleportation array in Yanmen City that led to the entrance of Dongyan Mountain. Knight Sorrow didn't teleport there directly because he felt that it would attract attention and would be detrimental to the rescue. After flying to Mount Dongyan, Knight Sorrow activated the 9 regions origin beads and began searching with his soul power. Saving Chiyue was his top priority. If something happened to her, it would be useless even if he massacred the gate of Yenshan sect. In Knight Sorrow's heart, the entire gate of Yenshan sect wasn't as important as Chiyue. After probing the teleportation array, Knight Sorrow brandished his Void Splitter Spear and destroyed it. He knew that a battle was inevitable, so he destroyed the teleportation array first. After destroying the teleportation array, Knight Sorrow continued to investigate Mount Dongyan. However, at that moment, someone had already discovered Knight Sorrow. It was a one-star king. Who are you? How dare you act presumptuously in my Yanmen mountain? The one-star king roared at Knight Sorrow. I don't have time to deal with you now. Scram! Knight Sorrow growled. Knight Sorrow used the spatial law to increase his speed and searched for traces of Chiyue in Mount Dongyan. The one-star king chased after him, but his speed was on a completely different level from Knight Sorrow's. Yan Fei was shocked. He was a king, but his speed was far inferior to Knight Sorrow, who was a half-step king. If he couldn't catch up to Knight Sorrow, then no one in Gate of Yenshan Sec's Mount Dongyan could contend with Knight Sorrow. While Knight Sorrow dodged Yan Fei's pursuit, his soul power swept through the entrance of Mount Dongyan. He still hadn't found Chiyue. When he couldn't find Chiyue on the main peak of Mount Dongyan, Knight Sorrow began to circle the main peak in search. As for Yan Fei, the Earth Attribute one-star king, Knight Sorrow didn't care. He couldn't catch up to him at all. When he flew to the side peak, Knight Sorrow's eyes were filled with anger. He found traces of Chiyue. In the hall of a courtyard, Chiyue was hung up. Her body was covered in blood. Two women were waving leather whips at her. Another man was sitting on an armchair, drinking wine and saying unbearable words. What made Knight Sorrow's guts burst was that Chiyue's right arm and right leg were twisted irregularly. It was obvious that they had been broken. I don't agree. If you don't agree, we'll play once. Although it's a pity, I can accept it, said the man sitting on the armchair. He was Yan Fei's grandson, Yan Jinghua. Hee. You're overthinking it. At most, I'll die. Don't even think about getting your way. Chiyue sneered. Even if you die, I'll still get my way. Yan Jinghua laughed sinisterly. Master. Uncle, you'll take revenge for Chiyue. Chiyue won't be able to stay by your side to make tea for you. Chiyue raised her head and muttered. She planned to end her own life. She didn't have any regrets because she knew that Knight Sorrow would take revenge for her. In her heart, Knight Sorrow was not only her master, but also her uncle. Today, I'll take revenge for you in front of your eyes. As soon as Knight Sorrow finished speaking, his body appeared in the hole. Knight Sorrow waved his space splitter spear and the two women holding leather whips had their heads chopped off by a spatial blade. Knight Sorrow waved his left arm and cut off the chains on Chiyue's body, pulling her to his side. Master, I want him dead. Chiyue grabbed Knight Sorrow's robes with her left hand and said to Yan Jinghua. Good. Master promises you that today, blood will flow like a river. Knight Sorrow nodded to Chiyue. Shameless boasting. A half-step king is an ant in front of a king. Don't you know that? Yan Fei stood in front of Yan Jinghua and held his battle blade as he looked at Knight Sorrow. Cool craftsman T net Q head plus equals hair, carrot, enter Master's 8 dragon cauldron and watch the battle. Knight Sorrow completely ignored Yan Fei. Thank you for your hard work, Master. Chiyue's eyes were filled with tears. Her heart was filled with gratitude. When she was young and lonely, Knight Sorrow had appeared and made her feel warmth. He had led her on the path of cultivation. Today, Knight Sorrow had appeared at the most critical moment. He had appeared without knowing the opponent's strength, and all of this was to save her. With a wave of his hand, he transferred Chiyue into the 8 dragon cauldron and asked the weapon spirit to heal her with the power of medicine. Knight Sorrow turned to look at Yan Fei and Yan Jinghua. Damn it, what do you think our Yanmen sect is? Yan Fei pointed his battle blade at Knight Sorrow and roared. Although the Yenmen sect has a bad reputation, it has nothing to do with me. However, you shouldn't have touched my disciple. Today, I will kill you to get rid of evil." Knight Sorrow exhaled and said. The Yenmen sect was the same as the Tiannan dynasty. They were cruel to their affiliated worlds. Knight Sorrow was very against it, but it had nothing to do with him. However, he could not tolerate Chiyue being in such a miserable state. After hearing Knight Sorrow's words, the angry Yen Fei waved his battle blade and charged toward Knight Sorrow. Then die. Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear executed the space-revolving dragon kill and stabbed toward Yen Fei's battle blade. Chapter 1920. Knight Sorrow's spear directly smashed Yen Fei's battle blade backwards. Yen Fei's earth attribute willpower was completely suppressed. He could not block Knight Sorrow's spatial whirling dragon kill. However, Knight Sorrow's attack was not finished. He shook Yen Fei's battle blade to the side. The energy of their weapons cancelled each other out. However, Knight Sorrow followed up with a spatial vibration wave. Bang! With a muffled sound, Yen Fei's protective energy shield was shattered by Knight Sorrow's vibration wave. Then, the energy wave sent his body flying. Soul extinguishing slash. After sending Yen Fei flying, Knight Sorrow used soul extinguishing slash. The purple soul extinguishing slash crescent moon blade streaked across the space and slashed into Yen Fei's spirit sea. The soul extinguishing slash was effective. Knight Sorrow's space splitter spear arrived and directly pierced Yen Fei's head. After killing Yen Fei, Knight Sorrow waved his spear and used another spatial whirling dragon kill. He killed Yen Jinghua, who was only an 8-star saint. After taking their storage rings, Yi Shang left the courtyard. At this time, many members of the Yenmen sect had rushed over. Previously, when Yi Shang and Yen Fei had been chasing each other in the air, many of them had seen them and chased after them. Knight Sorrow's innate bloodline energy protected his body. He cut through the space and began to fight with the members of Yenmen sect. Actually, it could not be called a fight. It was a massacre because the members of Yenmen sect who came over were all Saint Kings. Even King Yen Fei was killed by Knight Sorrow, not to mention Saint Kings. When Knight Sorrow fought with Xiao Zimo, he fought against 7 peak Saint Kings. Now, not to mention that Knight Sorrow's strength had increased, these people were also much weaker than Xiao Zimo. After killing these people, Knight Sorrow directly killed his way to Dongyan Mountain Branch. He looted all the resources and killed the core members. Then, he left. Knight Sorrow knew that if this dragged on, it would be dangerous. He had no problem taking down a hall of the Gate of Goose sect, but there was definitely a powerful king in the headquarters of the Gate of Goose sect. He should have received the news by now. In fact, it was just as Knight Sorrow had guessed. When Yen Fei was killed, the school of Yenshan's main peak knew about it. Yen Fei had a soul crystal in the hall of worship at the headquarters. Since he was killed, the soul crystal was stolen. The main peak of Yenmen sect was 20,000 miles away from Mount Dongyan. It was impossible to rush there quickly. The teleportation array had also been destroyed by Knight Sorrow. By the time the powerful king of Yenmen sect arrived, Knight Sorrow had already disappeared without a trace. After leaving Yenmen Mountain, Knight Sorrow was no longer in a hurry. He found a quiet place and entered the 8-dragon cauldron. July, how are you? Knight Sorrow asked July. Thank you, Master. I'm fine now. I just need to go back and recuperate, Chiyue said. Then recuperate well. When you go back, get your Aunt Shueshi to cook something delicious for you. Knight Sorrow smiled and nodded. He was glad that he had arrived in time. If he had been any slower, there would have been irreparable consequences. If that happened, it would have been useless even if he slaughtered the entire Gate of Goose sect. Master, you killed King. July was still very shocked. The 8-dragon cauldron didn't isolate her from the outside world, so she had heard and seen what Yen Fei had said and how Night Sorrow had slaughtered the Dong Yen sect branch. That guy. He's just trash king. I'll continue on my way. After Night Sorrow said that, he left the 8-dragon cauldron and continued flying. This time, Night Sorrow didn't plan on taking the teleportation array. Instead, he flew directly to Seven Night Mountain. The distance between Yanman Mountain and Seven Night Mountain was quite far. No matter how fast Night Sorrow was, it still took him 6 days. During that time, he had to use the teleportation array in an inconspicuous city twice. After arriving at Seven Night Mountain, Night Sorrow took the teleportation array to Northstar's residence before returning to the Celestial Master Pavilion. Master, how is it? At that moment, Ning Yun's injuries had recovered a little. Night Sorrow nodded and brought July out. At that moment, July had almost recovered. With the power of the 8-dragon cauldron's medicine spirit, it wasn't a big problem for her to recover from some injuries. Junior sister, are you alright? Ning Yun looked at July nervously. I'm fine. Senior brother informed me in time and Master arrived in time. Master massacred the Gate of Goose sect's Dong Yen sect branch, July said. Night Sorrow, did you really massacre an entire branch? She looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. I was too angry, so I killed some people. Night Sorrow nodded. This time, he was really angry. It was fine for cultivators to have conflicts and battles, but one couldn't be too despicable. He couldn't accept Yan Jinghua's actions. Aunt Xueshi, Master also killed a king. July said. She was very proud because her master didn't enter the king, but he killed a king in an instant. Night Sorrow, you killed a king. Xueshi's eyes were filled with shock because this didn't make sense. Killed a king. What's the situation? At that moment, Northstar also arrived at Night Sorrow's residence. It's just a trash king. He only has the will of Earth. He doesn't have the speed or the strength of his attacks. Night Sorrow picked up the teapot on the table and poured himself a cup of tea. You really don't know how to speak. You didn't enter the king and kill the king. You're too heaven-defying. I guess the Gate of Goose sect hates you to death. Bei Xing's eyes were also filled with shock, because such a thing had never happened in the profound sky world in hundreds of thousands of years. The chaos is getting bigger. There are probably more people who want to kill me, but I'm already numb to it. There are many people who want me dead, so it doesn't matter if there are more or less. Night Sorrow laughed. All right. You've won. Is there anything you need me to do? Bei Xing asked. Help me find out more information. Let's see what's going on outside. Send some food and wine over. Ning Yun and Chiyue must be well rewarded. Night Sorrow nodded. You have to do your job well. Ning Yun, Chiyue, you have to thank Aunt Bei Xing said with a smile. #CL Original U Chapter are on Cool Craftsman Our Network L9 inch. When did you become twice as senior as us? Ning Yun asked. You bastard, I'm friends with your master. How dare you call me sister? Do you dare to shout? If you shout, I'll agree. Bei Xing crossed his arms and looked at Ning Yun. All right. Aunt Bei Xing, I was wrong. Ning Yun said helplessly. He really didn't dare to call her sister. Bei Xing laughed and left. She really liked the atmosphere in Night Sorrow's courtyard. Everyone was more casual, but there was also a hint of persistence in the casual atmosphere. From today onwards, the two of you are not allowed to run around. If you want to gain experience, go to Seven Night Mountain. Night Sorrow looked at Ningyun and Chiyue and said, "The two of you have shown up. Everyone knows about your relationship with your master. If you go out again, it'll be easy for problems to arise." Shueshi said, "Master, I'm sorry. I've caused trouble for you," Chiyue said with some embarrassment. Chapter 1921. Master, why don't we just forget about it? It's not that serious, July said. She didn't want to make things difficult for Night Sorrow because of her. It's nothing. Even if we don't compete with them now, they won't let us off the hook. It's nothing. We cultivators can't be afraid. Whoever wants to fight with us, will fight to the end. As we fight, we'll become stronger. As we fight, our level will rise, Yishan said. When he said this, Night Sorrow felt a little emotional. He had walked through battles. Back then, he fought with the Golden Flame sect. Then, he fought with the various dynasties of the Tai Ching domain. Then, he fought in the Profound Mysteries realm and the Nether realm. Now, he was in the Profound Sky world. Cool Craftsman Network. Aning Yun and July nodded. They knew that this was their master. If his bottom line was crossed, he would dare to fight anyone. If his bottom line was crossed, he wouldn't back down. After letting Ningyun and July recover for 2 days, Night Sorrow arranged for them to go to the Seven Nights Mountain. He was worried that the Big Dipper city wasn't safe. Now that a storm was brewing, Night Sorrow didn't know when it would happen. After Ningyun and July left for 2 days, Bei Xing came. Her face was full of excitement. Night Sorrow, you've gone too far this time. The Yanmen sect is now looking for you. They're going to kill you at all costs. I slapped their faces. Let's not talk about whether they can slap me back or not. I have to throw some harsh words at them. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that his identity couldn't be hidden. At that time, there were living people at the entrance of the Dongyan Mountain. They would know who did it with a casual description. Now, he was a top figure in the Profound Sky world. You're famous now. Not only did you kill the king, but you also killed the king. The name of the strongest sage king, Night Sorrow, has become popular. You're the idol of all the sage kings. Bei Xing said with a smile. Night Sorrow smiled. You should help me find out more information. Others found me in the Big Dipper city. If I don't know, they'll close the door and beat me. That won't happen. Right now, everyone who is looking for you is rushing to the vicinity of the Yanmen sect. Other than that, no one from BG City has come to Big Dipper City. You can still stay here peacefully. Bei Xing covered her mouth and said. She felt that it was very fun now. Bei Xing was not young, and her life was very ordinary in the past. However, after knowing Night Sorrow, she felt that everything was very exciting. Night Sorrow dared to do anything, and could do anything. That's good. At least I can feel more at ease. If others want to cause a ruckus, then so be it. Night Sorrow said. Within the Seven Rain Palace of the Seven Rain World Seven Rain Valley, the Seven Rain Monarch sat in the main seat as he listened to the reports of his subordinates. A king killed a king before entering the realm. This has not happened in 1,000,000 years. How valiant. The Seven Rain Monarch's fingers tapped on the armrest of his seat as he muttered softly. In addition, many kings under the monarch's command have entered the sky mystic world. In the beginning, everyone was full of confidence. Now, the slogan of capturing Night Sorrow is very loud. However, everyone is very cautious. After all, Night Sorrow can kill a king, said the woman. She was the youngest disciple of the Seven Rain Monarch, Ao Luyun. She was a 3-star king, and her achievements had surpassed her senior brother and senior sister. That's right. Defeating and killing are two different things. A 2-star king might be able to defeat a 1-star king, but it is not easy to kill him. If he can kill him now, then a 2-star king will not be able to capture and kill him. It will not be easy for a 3-star king to kill him either, said the 7-Rain monarch. Master, there are rumors going around that he has many treasures in his hands. The most eye-catching ones are the soul cultivation elixir and the myriad lifespan limitless fruit. Therefore, he has become a target. The myriad lifespan limitless fruit is important, but it is useless to kings and monarchs. However, the soul cultivation elixir is crucial. Master, I will inform 5th senior sister to go with me. No. I am asking you to go to scout for information, not to capture him or target him. It is true that opportunities need to be fought for, but at the end of the day, what is yours is yours. Besides, these treasures are too weak compared to him. He is the true treasure. I have some feelings for him. If you go again, it will still be to scout for information. If he needs help, then help him, said the 7-Rain monarch. Master, the soul cultivation elixir is too important to you. It can also decide the position of our 7-moon realm in the 9-firmament world, said Ao Luyun. The people who want the soul cultivation elixir are all obsessed. Let me ask you, if you were the one who obtained the soul cultivation elixir, would you give others the chance to snatch it away? His true body is in the 9-firmament pagoda, so his doppelganger will not have any backup plans. Would he be afraid of these things? Those who are closely involved can't see clearly, said the 7-Rain monarch as he shook his head. That's true. For him to be able to torment himself to this extent, he is definitely not brainless, said Ao Luyun after some thought. Go. Back when he obtained the title of First Saint of the 100 Realms, I have already formed a good relationship with him. I really hope that when he is in a desperate situation, it is not because I have bad intentions. At that time, he will think of me and our 7-Rain realm will have another great talent, said the 7-Rain monarch with a smile. Master, you mean to invite him to the 7-Rain realm? Asked Ao Luyun after being stunned for a moment. It is not that I want to, it is that I have already done so. It is just that he is unwilling. He does not want to betray the Sky Mystic World even though the Sky Mystic World has wronged him, sighed the 7-Rain monarch. After hearing what Master said, I feel that he is a very good person, said Ao Luyun with a smile. Looking at his eyes, feeling his arrogance and style, I feel that he is a perfect person. He is from a small world. It is not easy for him to fight to this extent. Those old fellows still bully him. Just thinking about it makes my heart ache, said the 7-Rain monarch. That's right. If he was from a large world or a great power, he would be spoiled like a treasure, said Ao Luyun with a smile. All right, go. You know what to do. There is no need to be afraid of offending others. The 7-Rain monarch nodded at Ao Luyun. At this moment, at the Tianding Gate Standing Peak, Elder Xiang and Yan Huifeng were talking to Yu Yangyu about the recent situation. Lord King, is Knight Sorrow in danger? Yu Yangyu was a little worried because there were too many strong opponents. No, Knight Sorrow can kill a king. That means that a primary king cannot threaten him. Lord Monarch has said that cultivators above the intermediate king level are not allowed to enter our Sky Mystic World. Therefore, he is safe, said Elder Xiang. It is because I am incompetent as his master. Yu Yangyu was a little upset. Everyone's path is different. This is his path. It is a path of struggle. The only regret is that he will not be returning to the Tianding Gate in the near future. Elder Xiang sighed. The main thing was that the Tianding Gate could not help Knight Sorrow in any way. Tianding Gate's West Radiance Peak. Chu Danxian was studying the alchemy manual when Tang Yuan ran in excitedly and told her about the news that was circulating outside. Chapter 1922. Tang Yuan also didn't say anything, because she used to act all high and mighty in front of Knight Sorrow, but in fact, if Knight Sorrow wanted to deal with her, he could do it with just a flick of his finger. After the members of the other peaks of the Tianding Gate received the news about Knight Sorrow, although they were worried, they were more happy, excited, and honored. It wasn't a king who killed a king, this was an honor. Many people didn't even dare to think about it, but Knight Sorrow did it. Who was Knight Sorrow? He was the guardian elder of the Heavenly Cauldron sect. His position was second only to the sect master and the sovereign king, the supreme elder Heavenly Cauldron sovereign king. Knight Sorrow's life was very comfortable every day, concocting pills, refining tools, and then practicing combat skills. King Greedy Wolf sometimes came to drink with Knight Sorrow, and the two became drinking buddies. Xueshi also went back to Empty City to get some wine. Fortunately, Aoi brewed a lot. Beixing spent most of his time in the courtyard, mainly talking to Knight Sorrow and Xueshi. Beixing, what law are you comprehending now? Knight Sorrow asked after he finished concocting pills. My strongest attribute is water, so according to my father, I'm currently studying and comprehending the will of water. Originally, I wanted to use the water attribute to try and comprehend the life attribute, but I didn't have the chance. Beixing said. In fact, many talented cultivators were like this. They were proud in their hearts and wanted to have higher achievements, but it was very difficult. This was almost the reason why King didn't have a high-level attribute. Even if there was, it was just a little high-level attribute, not a pure high-level attribute. By the way, Beixing, why didn't you participate in the ceremony of the 100 Worlds' first sage? Knight Sorrow said. He knew that Beixing was a half-step king. If I participate, I can get some rankings, but if I can't get into the top 10, it's meaningless. If I can't rush to the front, I'll lose my spirit. It's meaningless. However, Xiao Zimo is very strong. If you weren't there, she would definitely be first. Beixing said with a smile. The phantom race is indeed terrifying. Whether it's one-on-one or in a group, they're amazing. If you meet them in the future, you have to hide. Knight Sorrow said. Not all members of the phantom race are like that. It also depends on talent and bloodline. Only the phantom royal family can create 3 energy clones. Xiao Zimo's situation is a little special. She is one of the more talented members of the phantom race. She is also one of the most talented members of the phantom race, Beixing said. That's good. If everyone from the phantom clan was as crazy as Xiao Zimo, then we would be invincible, Yishang said. That's impossible. There is a balance between heaven and earth. If the phantom race were all like Xiao Zimo, then this world would belong to the phantom race. No race would be able to fight against them, Beixing said with a smile. That's true. You're right. If that's the case, there won't be any balance. Knight Sorrow nodded. The phantom race is rare because of their talent. Beixing nodded. After Knight Sorrow chatted with Beixing for a while, he continued to cultivate his battle skills. This was the most effective thing he could do with his clones. After 2 days of peace, Big Dipper King came to Knight Sorrow's mansion. Lord King, you're here. Knight Sorrow put away his reincarnation spear and greeted him. The outside world is unstable. You're here as stable as Mount Tai. Not bad. Remember, just be yourself. Big Dipper King said with a smile. Knight Sorrow smiled and nodded. He took the tea that Xueshi brewed and poured a cup for Big Dipper King. Read 6 original chapters on Cool Craftsman Unspecified Currency S Network. Big Dipper City hasn't been peaceful for the past few days. It was a sovereign from the Demon Moon realm. He announced that he saw you in Big Dipper City before the incident at Eastern Wild Goose Gate Mountain, said the North Star Sovereign. It seems that the Demon Moon world has also declared war on me. Although it's a one-on-one battle, I'll remember this. Night Sorrow said with a sigh. Now that you don't have the strength, you need to be stable. Just remember these things. Once you have the strength, you can deal with them one by one. Big Dipper King said with a smile. He was afraid that Night Sorrow wouldn't be stable. After Big Dipper King left, Night Sorrow felt a little guilty. He didn't treat Big Dipper King with the soul-nurturing tea. Black Heaven Monarch had obtained the soul-nurturing liquid, so it wasn't a big problem to expose the soul-nurturing tea to him. However, other people couldn't. Night Sorrow could give Big Dipper King the soul-nurturing tea, but not now. When Ao Luyun arrived at Big Dipper City, she was quite meticulous. After investigating Big Dipper City, she learned some things about Yi Shang's past. She knew that he had once refined Saint King pills and was a member of the Alchemist Union. Following this clue, Ao Luyun found traces of Night Sorrow in the Heaven Do shop. She also noticed the Celestial Master Pavilion. After the Heaven Do shop stopped accepting Saint King pills and Saint King weapons, the Celestial Master Pavilion appeared out of nowhere. Moreover, no one knew who the alchemist and refiner of the Celestial Master Pavilion were. This was very suspicious. After thinking for a while, Ao Luyun went to the Celestial Master Pavilion and said that she wanted to order a special Saint King pill and hoped to meet the alchemist. However, she was rejected by Old Man Qin, who said that the alchemist wouldn't meet any guests. Ao Luyun thought for a while and smiled. Then tell him that I, Ao Luyun, am the disciple of the Seven Rain Monarch of the Seven Rain world. I want to meet him. I will wait for his reply tomorrow. Looking at Ao Luyun's figure, Old Man Qin pondered. However, at this time, Bei Xing came to get today's order. Old Man Qin told Bei Xing about Ao Luyun's appearance. Ao Luyun. I know this person. She used 3,000 years to cultivate to the king realm. She is a genius of the Seven Rain world. It's a little strange that she reported her name. After muttering to himself, Bei Xing nodded to Old Man Qin and returned to his mansion. Then, he teleported to the courtyard behind the Celestial Master Pavilion. Night Sorrow, the Celestial Master Pavilion seems to have been exposed. However, I don't understand the other party's intention. Bei Xing told Night Sorrow about Ao Luyun's arrival and the message Ao Luyun left behind. Subordinate of the Seven Rain Monarch. Then I understand. You arrange for Old Man Qin to find a tea house near your courtyard and inform her. Night Sorrow decided to meet Ao Luyun. It's good to meet her. Since she can find the Celestial Master Pavilion, it means that she has some clues. If she has any evil intentions, she can directly make a move. Xueshi also agreed with Night Sorrow. Besides, Xueshi also knew that Night Sorrow and the Seven Rain Monarch had met before. Under Old Man Qin's arrangement, Ao Luyun waited in a tea house some distance away from Bei Xing's courtyard. Night Sorrow also came as promised. He wanted to see what Ao Luyun's intentions were. He wanted to see what the Seven Rain Monarch's intentions were. Seeing Night Sorrow, the Seven Rain Monarch pointed at the seat opposite him. Greetings. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and sat down. I am Ao Luyun of the Seven Rain world. People call me King Luyun. You can call me Luyun. I have no other purpose in coming here. I just want to tell you that the hiding place is not safe. Ao Luyun said while sizing up Night Sorrow. Chapter 1923. Yes. When you need help, I will lend you a hand, Ao Luyun said. Good. As expected of a monarch. Knight Sorrow admires your courage and magnanimity. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards the void. Why do you say that? Ao Luyun didn't understand why Knight Sorrow would suddenly ask such a question. If you came for the soul cultivation liquid, I might be disappointed. However, the Seven Rain Monarch didn't mention this matter. I, Knight Sorrow, have no choice but to respect him, Knight Sorrow said. Haha. Honored Master was able to cultivate to the monarch realm. Whether it is courage or temperament, it naturally surpasses ordinary people. Now, what do you need me to do? Ao Luyun asked. He now had some understanding of the Seven Rain Monarch's evaluation of Knight Sorrow. When ordinary people heard the word monarch, even if they didn't feel fear, they would feel fear and humility. However, Knight Sorrow didn't. He still spoke leisurely. It's nothing. Help me thank Sir Monarch. I, Knight Sorrow, will remember Sir Monarch's favor and kindness. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards Ao Luyun and stood up. I will report back to Honored Master. However, don't appear in the Celestial Master Pavilion again. Also, don't accept orders for Saint King pills and Saint King weapons. Those who are interested will find out, Ao Luyun reminded Knight Sorrow's back. Knight Sorrow paused for a moment. He then turned around and cupped his hands towards Ao Luyun, then left the tea house. After circling around and making sure that no one was following him, Knight Sorrow entered Bei Xing's courtyard. Then, he returned to the courtyard behind the Celestial Master Pavilion. What's the situation? Bei Xing asked. Looking at Bei Xing and Xueshi, Knight Sorrow told them about Ao Luyun's warning. Yes, you participated in the alchemist conference. You are a Saint King alchemist. If we follow this clue, we might be able to find some clues, Bei Xing said. Then we'll have to move. Xueshi's expression was not very good. She was worried about Knight Sorrow's safety. There's no need for that. The courtyard is well hidden by an illusion array, and it can even block detection. In the future, the Celestial Master Pavilion will not accept any orders for Saint King pills or Saint King weapons. Just let Old Man Qin announce that the alchemist and artifact refiner have left the Celestial Master Pavilion and Big Dipper City, Knight Sorrow said. North Star nodded. She knew that Knight Sorrow's arrangement was appropriate. After all, no one had any concrete information. After Ao Luyun spoke with Knight Sorrow, he returned to the Seven Rain world and reported to the Seven Rain Monarchs about his encounter with Knight Sorrow. Haha. If we really talk about the soul cultivation liquid, then I will be black in his heart, no different from the Tsangyun Monarch and the Demon Moon Monarch. Continue to go to the Big Dipper City. If you really encounter a huge crisis, crush your master's messaging crystal, the Seven Rains Monarch said to Ao Luyun. Ao Luyun bowed and left the Seven Rain Palace, returning to the Big Dipper City once again. However, he stayed closer to the Celestial Master Pavilion, so it was easier for him to observe the situation. After Ao Luyun left, the Seven Rain Monarch narrowed her eyes and pondered. Then, her eyes lit up because she had analyzed a problem. Knight Sorrow did not mention that he had not obtained the soul cultivation liquid. If he had not obtained it, then Knight Sorrow would have denied it. What did that mean? Then, the Seven Rain Monarch shook her head and smiled. She could not take Knight Sorrow's things, and she could not snatch Knight Sorrow's things. Otherwise, Knight Sorrow would be furious. The Seven Rain Monarch wanted the soul cultivation liquid. If it was in the hands of someone else, she might use force. However, Knight Sorrow would not do that. She was optimistic about Knight Sorrow's future and did not want to hurt the friendship she had built with Knight Sorrow, even if that friendship was very thin. In fact, in Knight Sorrow's heart, the Seven Rain Monarch's friendship with him was not thin. When they were in the Nine Heavens Pagoda, there was no such thing as the soul cultivation liquid. The Seven Rain Monarch had also invited him to the Seven Rain world. This time, when she came to help him, she did not mention anything about the soul cultivation liquid. This left a deep impression in Night Sorrow's heart. Night Sorrow's days were very peaceful. Half a month later, someone investigated the Celestial Master Pavilion. However, Old Chin's reply disappointed the person who found the Celestial Master Pavilion. It had been half a month since the Celestial Master Pavilion had received any orders. In other words, even if Night Sorrow had stayed here before, he had already left. After half a month, this information was useless again. Night Sorrow now believed that the most dangerous place was the safest. He stayed in the courtyard behind the Celestial Master Pavilion and quietly concocted pills. As for smithing, Night Sorrow had not done it recently. Now that he could no longer improve his smithing skills, there was no need to waste materials. As for pills, they were all universal. Once they were concocted, they would become a resource. Ao Luyun knew that Night Sorrow was still in Big Dipper City. However, he had hidden himself very deeply. She also knew that with the support of the Big Dipper King, it would be very difficult for anyone to find Night Sorrow in Big Dipper City. Find out too much. Whoever dared to do so would be killed. D-look at CD positive R version, J chapter on cool or craftsman net F cube, provoking the prestige of a region's overlord king. Even if they were killed, the overlord behind them could only watch. After all, the overlord of the Xian celestial realm was still guarded by the overlord of Xian Tian. After being in a daze for a while, Night Sorrow thought of making a move. He felt that he should make a move. The gate of Yenshan sect was very arrogant. If they wanted to capture him, then he should go and teach them a lesson. He would divert their attention and then return to Big Dipper City. That would be much safer. With this idea in mind, Night Sorrow told Xuexi and Bei Xing, but this will be dangerous, Bei Xing said. Don't worry. They are currently focused on capturing me. They won't expect me to kill my way to their door. They shouldn't be on guard. Night Sorrow told them his guess. After listening to Night Sorrow's estimation, Bei Xing and Xuexi didn't object. After all, Night Sorrow had already made his decision. Xuexi stayed there and didn't move. Bei Xing took Night Sorrow's 8-dragon cauldron and left Big Dipper City. They arrived at a relatively remote town. As she shook the 8-dragon cauldron, Night Sorrow arrived in the real world. I'm still waiting for you here. Be careful. Safety is always the most important thing. As long as you're here, you can take revenge anytime, Bei Xing reminded Night Sorrow. Okay. You be careful too. I'm leaving. Night Sorrow tightened the gun holster behind him. He put on the mask and went to the teleportation circle in this small town. Then, he teleported to the city of the Gate of Yenshan sect. The headquarters of the Gate of Yenshan sect was in the Gate of Yenshan Mountain. A few of the sects that taught their disciples were also in the Gate of Yenshan Mountain. However, they still had many cities under their control. A large force had to manage their businesses. Only then would they have enough resources to support their logistics. Now, Night Sorrow planned to attack the Gate of Yenshan sect's businesses and rob them of their resources. This way, while accumulating resources for himself, would also tell the Gate of Yenshan sect and the world that if anyone dared to target him, Night Sorrow, he would definitely fight back. Night Sorrow teleported to a city called Qingsha City. This was his first target. With the map of the Xian celestial realm in his hand, before Night Sorrow left, he had already locked onto a few cities to attack. Qingsha City was his first stop. Chapter 1924. Night Sorrow had the help of the 9 regions' origins, so his soul powers probing was very strong. Before the battle, He had scouted all the places that could be discovered, so his safety was very high. Knight Sorrow also had his own principles when it came to killing targets. That was, he would attack the core members of the City Lord's manor. He would ignore the ordinary members, which meant that he would not kill too many people. After successfully occupying a city, Knight Sorrow swept through all the resources in the City Lord's manor. Then, he set the City Lord's manor on fire and moved on to the next city. Knight Sorrow's battle speed was very fast. Without King's opponent, killing peak holy kings and half-step kings was just a matter of moments. The Gate of Yenmen was a first-rate force in the celestial realm. The resources in the City Lord's manor were very rich. After all, the daily expenses of supporting a city were not small. After one city was done, Knight Sorrow began to teleport. Before the battle, Knight Sorrow took all the teleportation crystals in the teleportation formation. When he left, Knight Sorrow casually installed one, which meant that he would teleport to wherever he went. Then, in the new city, he teleported according to the target city. Before leaving the battle city, Knight Sorrow also set up a spirit explosion formation in the teleportation formation. It was to destroy the teleportation formation and prevent others from spreading the news. This time, Knight Sorrow was more ruthless. He directly destroyed 6 cities. Originally, Knight Sorrow planned to continue, but he met King in the 6th city, Green Summit City. It was a 2-star king. This 2-star king was the son of the Gate of Yenmen's sect master, Yen Qingfeng. Green Summit City was Yen Qingfeng's territory. When Knight Sorrow attacked, he was cultivating in a courtyard in the city. So, after Knight Sorrow launched the attack, Yen Qingfeng received the message and rushed to the City Lord's manor. Looking at Knight Sorrow who had finished setting fire to the city, Yen Qingfeng said coldly, "You are quite bold. Perhaps this is my opportunity." "Your opportunity? What kind of opportunity did you have?" Knight Sorrow said to Yen Qingfeng with the Space Splitter Spear in his right hand. He was not afraid of a 2-star holy king. He also wanted to see the difference between him and a 2-star king. Limitless longevity fruit, soul cultivation liquid. Aren't these opportunities? I think you have a lot of resources. After Yen Qingfeng finished speaking, his body flashed and charged towards Knight Sorrow. Will of Wind and Fire. Knight Sorrow discovered Yen Qingfeng's Will of Wind and Fire. Using the Will of Space to support his bloodline, Yishang's body slashed and drew an arc in the air. Then, he thrust his spear towards Yen Qingfeng's chest. At the same time, he used the spatial twisting dragon kill. Seeing Yishang close in on him, Yen Qingfeng waved his blade and slashed towards Yishang's space splitter spear. His willpower was good at tough battles. With the fusion of his willpower of wind and fire, the wind helped the fire, increasing his attacking power. With a loud explosion, the energy of Knight Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear and Yen Qingfeng's Battle Blade clashed. The energy of Knight Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear was cancelled out, but Yen Qingfeng's Battle Blade still had energy left. The remaining energy of Yen Qingfeng's Battle Blade followed the Space Splitter Spear and attacked Knight Sorrow's arm. The energy of the Myriad Tao Bible burst out from Yishang's body. He used a shock wave to disperse the energy. The two separated. Knight Sorrow used Space Swirling Dragon Slash to appear in front of Yen Qingfeng. He used his bloodline talent to release a vibration wave. As the vibration wave hit, a muffled sound was heard. Yen Qingfeng was pushed back by Knight Sorrow. He had used up all his energy and had not used up any new energy. After pushing Yen Qingfeng back, Knight Sorrow continued to charge forward. He used Time Will to support the Myriad Tao Tome and released another vibration wave. Damn it! Yen Qingfeng cursed. Yishang's attacks were too fast, one wave after another, not giving him any time to catch his breath. Knight Sorrow's Will of Time and Space supported his bloodline talent and Myriad Tao Tome. He used 3 different techniques to suppress Yan Qingfeng. Yan Qingfeng was in a passive position. He only had one type of energy. Whether it was attacking or defending, there was a blank space. And this blank space was where Night Sorrow attacked. This made him very uncomfortable. His arms were numb from the vibrations. Night Sorrow felt it was about time. He couldn't afford to waste any more time. After using Space Twisting Dragon Kill, he used Soul Destruction Slash to attack Yan Qingfeng's soul. Night Sorrow's Soul Destruction Slash was blocked this time. A light blue wave appeared on Yan Qingfeng's head, blocking the path of the Crescent Moon Blade. With the Crescent Moon Blade blocked, Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear attack arrived. Once again, Yan Qingfeng was pushed far away. What surprised Yi Shang was that Yan Qingfeng had borrowed the force of Yi Shang's attack to turn around and run. He had stopped fighting. Seeing Yan Qingfeng's fleeing figure, Night Sorrow didn't give chase. He believed that he could defeat Yan Qingfeng. He had already defeated him, but it would be difficult to kill him. Yan Qingfeng could block all of his attacks. He wouldn't be able to fight for a while. Night Sorrow didn't chase after Yan Qingfeng. Instead, he flew to the teleportation array. After setting up the Spirit Explosion array, he teleported away. In Green Summit City, Yan Qingfeng let out a sigh of relief after discovering that Night Sorrow had left. He was a little scared. There were some things that Night Sorrow didn't know about, but he knew that the energy provided by his soul defense sacred item could only block Night Sorrow's soul attack twice. He was worried that if he continued to fight, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Because his tracks had been exposed, Night Sorrow didn't continue to fight. After meeting up with Bei Xing, they returned to Big Dipper City and his mansion. How did it go? Xue Shi, who was waiting in the mansion, asked. I destroyed 6 cities. In the 6th city, I encountered a 2-star king. After fighting for a while, he ran away. I didn't have any effective means to kill him, so I didn't chase after him. Then, I teleported back, Night Sorrow said. 2-star king. What's his name? Bei Xing asked. There were only so many kings in the Xian celestial realm. Bei Xing knew which one was which. I don't know, but he has a soul defense. It's a light blue halo that can block my soul power attacks, Night Sorrow said. The only H_original version P, the others are all pirated by UE. Sky Goose Encirclement. That's a soul defense tool unique to the Gate of Wild Goose sect. However, the Sky Goose Encirclement has a limit. In other words, the amount of energy it contains is limited. It can't be used continuously. This is also why he was in such a hurry to escape. He was afraid that you would continue to attack him with your soul. North Star explained to Night Sorrow why his soul attack was blocked. So that's how it is. I was really worried that he could keep defending his soul. Night Sorrow smiled. He understood that Yan Qingfeng was really afraid. Otherwise, he wouldn't have run. Half-Step King defeated 2-star King and chased 2-star King away. Night Sorrow, you're good enough. North Star gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Chapter 1925. If Yan Qingfeng had told us about the battle, it might have changed the situation. You defeated a 2-star king. Do you think the other 1-star and 2-star kings would still dare to look for you? 3-star kings wouldn't have the confidence either. There aren't many 3-star kings under the sovereign. Bei Xing shook her head. She felt that Night Sorrow's battle would affect the mentality of those who were looking for Night Sorrow. That's right. Let's see if Yan Qingfeng has the face to tell others. If he does, then everyone who is looking for Night Sorrow will have to think about their own safety. Xue Shi also felt that Bei Xing's words made sense. Bei Xing, help me pay more attention to the situation outside. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Bei Xing nodded. Don't worry about this. My father doesn't really care about the affairs of Big Dipper City. I'm in charge of some things. The intelligence system is also under my control. If there's any movement, I'll be the first to know. At this time, the Xian celestial realm was really in chaos. 6 of Yanmen sect cities had been destroyed. This kind of thing couldn't be hidden anymore. Yanmen sect's reputation was once again shattered. However, the news of Yan Qingfeng and Night Sorrow's battle and his defeat didn't spread. Yan Qingfeng only reported this to the sect. After hearing Yan Qingfeng's report, everyone in the Yanmen sect's main hall looked very serious. Sect leader, this matter is not easy to deal with. A man in a black robe said. He was Yanmen sect's Grand Elder, Golden Flame King Xiao Wu. The problem is that we can't find him. We have power, but we can't use it. He came to our territory to cause trouble. There are only 2 or 3 people in Yanmen's sect who can stop him. The old man sitting in the main seat said. The old man had a pair of eyes that emitted an ominous glint. His 2 white eyebrows were almost erect. He was the patriarch of the gate of Yanshan sect, the king of Wuhui, Yan Wuhui. Yan Wuhui was very angry. Dealing with Night Sorrow could not be done in a big way. In the conflict with Night Sorrow, the Yanmen sect was in the wrong. They could not even say the reason. Committing obscenity was a great taboo among cultivators. Sect Master, the only way is for the 2 of us to move around in the lower cities. That way, he won't be able to act recklessly. We'll hold him off for now. There are many people who want to take care of him now. We'll hold him off until he's taken care of. Xiao Wu spoke his thoughts. That's the only thing we can do for now. The sect will enter a state of full preparation for war. There must be people near the teleportation array. If there's a battle, destroy the teleportation array immediately. That way, he won't be able to escape quickly. Yan Wuhui said. When news of the Yanmen sect spread, King's subordinates all went to the Yanmen sect to look for Night Sorrow. The name Night Sorrow represented an opportunity, because whoever obtained the soul cultivation liquid would benefit greatly. While Xuexi and Night Sorrow were drinking tea, they kept thinking. Xuexi, what are you thinking about? Night Sorrow asked Xuexi, who was deep in thought. I think there's a need to clarify to the outside world why you attacked the Tiannan dynasty and the Yanmen sect. Righteousness is very important, and so is your reputation. Xuexi said. I'll walk my own path. It doesn't matter what others say. Night Sorrow shook his head. He really hadn't thought about this. After Bei Xing arrived, Xuexi told him her thoughts. Night Sorrow didn't care, but she didn't want Night Sorrow to have a stain on his reputation. After hearing Xuexi's words, Bei Xing also felt that it was necessary. No matter when, righteousness was very important. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation % Craftsman VNet Plus, okay, I'll take care of this. I'll send people to leak the reason why Night Sorrow fought the Tiannan dynasty and the Yanmen sect. Bei Xing nodded to Xuexi. Night Sorrow thought about it and didn't object. This would be a blow to the Yanmen sect and the Tiannan dynasty's reputation. For a sect or a force, reputation was very important. A sect with a bad reputation would have a hard time recruiting disciples. Perhaps it wouldn't affect the sect's strength temporarily, but it would have a great impact in the future. There would be a situation where the sect's disciples would be cut off. Bei Xing was very efficient. A few days later, the reason for Yi Shang's battle with the Tiannan dynasty and the Yanmen sect had spread throughout the world. It was very simple for the intelligence agents under her command to do this. They just had to secretly post notices in each city. The result of this incident was that the Tiannan dynasty and the Yanmen sect suffered losses. They also had a bad reputation. A bad reputation that everyone despised. This made the higher-ups of the two forces furious. They didn't understand how the news spread so quickly. Normally, Night Sorrow couldn't do this in the Xian celestial realm. Because they were in the wrong, the Tiannan dynasty and the Yanmen sect couldn't make up stories. They could only remain silent. Their silence represented the truth. This made many cultivators clap their hands in cheer. Didn't cultivators from big forces like to bully others? They had kicked an iron plate. Night Sorrow had become the idol of the independent cultivators. He wasn't the king, but he did something that even the king might not be able to do. Bei Xing excitedly told Night Sorrow about the situation and rumors outside. Not bad. They must be very upset now, Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's strange. With their character, they didn't confuse the truth, Shueshi said. It's not strange. The king can be very despicable, but he must respect the truth. If they deny it, whoever made this decision will not be able to face their own hearts. It will be difficult for them to achieve anything in the future. So they can only keep quiet. Bei Xing explained why the Tiannan dynasty and the Yanmen sect didn't confuse the truth. After hearing Bei Xing's words, Shueshi nodded. She understood the reason. What's the situation with the other king's subordinates? Night Sorrow asked. He couldn't go out, but he still paid attention to the news outside. Big Dipper City is very stable. Almost all the subordinates of the Seven Rain Monarch have arrived at the Yanmen sect. Of course, the one who met you is still in Big Dipper City, Bei Xing said. The one she was talking about was Ao Luyun, the subordinate of the Seven Rain Monarch. This woman is very smart. The fact that she could find the Celestial Master Pavilion last time proved this point. This time, she also calculated some things. Fortunately, we are not a match for her. Otherwise, it would be troublesome. Night Sorrow knew that Ao Luyun was a smart woman. She wouldn't be interrupted by some external factors. She was the kind of person who believed in her own judgment. Ao Luyun, who was drinking tea in an inn, narrowed her eyes and pondered. She believed in her intuition. Night Sorrow went to the Yanmen sect to cause trouble. He wouldn't be in the Yanmen sect. And Night Sorrow's most likely hiding place was Big Dipper City. Ao Luyun's impression of Night Sorrow also changed. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.